Download the app. If you download the app, you can actually hear this in stereo.
Hey.
We have Patrick Scientific over there.
I'm trying to be here.
And of course, the main man, the brother in the building.
Make it famous.
You know, wait a minute, hold up. The Michael Jackson of house music.
That's his new name?
The James Brown. No, I actually gave OG that. I said that James Brown, a Baltimore club. He's the originator.
Well, he is hard working.
Whoop, whoop. Mr. Thommy Davis.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I need some more mic.
Okay. I turned you all the way up. Well, I can't.
No, you don't.
I can't. No, you are turned all the way up.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Now it's better. It's much better.
Oh, you don't sound different than mine.
That's because you sound all thin.
Oh, okay.
We got professionals in here. You know it's got to be right.
You know. Let me
talking to a professional.
Man, we got so.
Oh, you know what? I sound better now, right? No,
you sound much better.
Yeah, because I was actually on the mic. I mean, near the mic. So, to start it off, how was your weekend?
What?
How was your weekend?
Look. I went to see the premiere of Move Your Body. It's a house music video about the birth of house. And they showed it down on North Avenue. And it was killer. It was Vince Vaughn talking about it, and they had everybody else in it. And it told all the story about how it began in Chicago and a whole bunch of stuff. And it was like, wow. By the end, I was almost in tears because Vince was saying stuff like that I was saying. What's wrong?
It's humming. I can get a humming.
Oh, you got to turn.
You have to turn the monitor. Hands. There you go. All right, got it.
So Vince was telling the story. He was like, I meant to hit him up today. So he talked about how it became and how it first started off with the gay clubs and the stuff you don't hear people say. But he was in Chicago talking about Frankie. Who was that? Me or?
That's you.
That's me?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
I don't know what I'm running once. I know it wasn't me. I turned mine off.
It was Vince.
He heard it.
It wasn't me.
So this it was really good. It was kind of long, and it's how he did the first thing with tracks and what happened with Screaming Rachel, and he told he didn't leave nothing out. Like this how this win and some of the stuff that we go do as people of color, and how it just blew up. And we can talk about that later. You talk about it here.
Yeah, I noticed one piece that's missing from here.
So if y'all hear somebody talking, he's going to outguess.
You might have to take it a little closer to the mic. You sound far away.
It's got to be like
lift it up.
Lift it up. Lift it up. Lift it up.
Yeah.
Is that better?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Give me a second.
Tracy probably got you turned down.
No, I don't. All right, now.
How does that sound?
It sounds
a lot better. It sounds a lot better.
Why I sound like Barry White and you sound like my background singer?
That's his voice.
Good mics make anyone sound sexy.
See?
Right.
Oh!
Wait a minute, we get started already.
Wait. So no, you got to see this movie when it come. They showed it in the Sundance and it was downtown. They had it for a premiere for the film festival. That does one film festival day on May the 2nd.
Okay.
You're
right because Maurice Joshua, got a podcast. I believe it's called Everybody Loves
That's
Us.
every man speaking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And he talked to all the OGs in the beginning.
Yeah.
And out of the two, all of them had their place in history, but it seemed like the two that I've listened so far that had the biggest contribution, I'll say that, probably is Vince Lawrence and Chippy. But I'm sure if there's some more,
You know what? He did not mention Chip. He mentioned a whole bunch of people, how he felt. He didn't self-proclaim himself. He just said his part. Like this way.
And his part was bigger than I thought when I saw his interview with Maurice Joshua. For those who don't know who Maurice Joshua is, he's house music's first Grammy winner.
Yeah.
So this is Acid too. That was my joint.
Which one?
This is Acid.
Oh yeah.
A rap group took that sample, Tough Crew.
A lot of people,
Yeah.
they just.
But they actually did it well, though. I'm like,
That's the voice of Patrick. This ready. This show is ready. Off and running.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I'm
This
DJ
is-
Patrick.
Wait,
This is
wait,
Hold
wait.
up. We gotta start doing our introduction.
Wait a minute. Then this weekend they gave me a lifetime award.
Yes.
And Damon Ramsey, OG, and Jeffrey C ripped the club up. And
Yeah.
it was really nice.
I saw
And
clips too.
So clips too.
it was really nice, and it was hot. It was sweaty. It was the first hot party of the year where the house music just gets kind of.
Is that the first one at that location?
No, this isn't the first one, but that's the first one for this season.
Okay.
Right. So
But let me tell you something. Those DJs ripped I'm sorry, Peter, but those people ripped the fur off of the dog. That's how hot it was. It was people were sweating, people were screaming, people did everything besides fall out. And because it wasn't enough room. But besides that, yeah. And then when Thommy walked in,
I gave them prints. I came in
Lights,
like
camera.
yeah, Moses parted the Red Sea.
they should have
People
played
was
Purple Rain for me. I was like, yeah, let's do it. And my dance for my mother was there for another party.
Nice.
And I got to dance with her. She said, I want to dance. You want to dance? I took her to the middle of the dance floor. And
Nice.
she 87.
Nice.
You know what?
Nice, sir.
I have a funny story about that, right?
Mhm.
So me and Rodney, shout outs to Rodney's from Atlanta, came up here to celebrate with us. We were walking, and I was like, "Oh, there's Thommy Small." And he's like, "Really? I never saw Thommy Small before." So I went over there. We introduced him to her, right? And they went the wrong way. They went behind City View where the gate is, and he ended up having to pick her up. He said, kind of like the way he used to pick you up in the club.
Yeah. That's a whole nother
Yeah,
story.
he ended up picking her up and taking her inside of the club. I was like, oh, well, okay, well, hey, that just happened.
So it was really, really great. That was powered by, he'd like to say, T-shirt Brian, that, I'm going to have on the show because he does a lot of promotion, and we don't never see the people in the back that's doing all that stuff. So we are making sure we covered it. We had Erica from Safari and stuff like that so that people know who's behind these kind of things.
You're right. That's important.
It's a staple in the community.
So without any further ado, that weekend was long. We got the audio Infusion. Well, we missing your intern. I saw it on your page,
Yeah.
But y'all been around. Them interns, man, they switch every time I go there. I got different interns.
Yeah.
But
That's another
Patrick
story.
Scientific and Henry the Man.
Yeah.
So look, I did some research and stuff. So I about y'all, about what y'all was doing and how long I've been doing it. So go ahead and tell your story the way you want to tell it. I'm gonna jump in.
Okay. Well, there was a guy named, oh my gosh, this is the 90s, by the way.
You want to tell spin?
Huh?
Your bio's on the site.
Yeah. So this is before. We'll start off with, there was a guy named Tex, and he did the show from midnight to 5. Either him or Cody Cox or whatever it was, but they ended, and then they came. Then he did his show, but then that guy left, and then this guy named Willie, cool DJ Willie. They said, "Do you want to do a radio show?" He's like, "Cool." So he's playing all sorts of stuff. Willie's musical tastes attracted me to the show because he would play anything and everything. He'd play hip hop, he'd play drum and bass, he'd play house music. He'd play the style of house music that he would play. And of course, that was after OG and Pope did their show, the Underground Experience. So after the Underground Experience, Willie would come on and do his thing, and he did not try to do the same thing that Pope and OG did. Because the style of house music he played was just different. It's not bad at all. It was actually pretty good, but it's different. So Willie's had the show, then Justin was on the show, and then a guy named Audio Joe was on the show as well too. Aaron, the engineer, I used to love listening to his mixes. He was great. He went to Towson. So then all of a sudden you have a kind of motley crew of people that are there. Then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, I was a promoter for La Street Promotion. Still do stuff with that. I want to give a shout out to LaTanya St. Clair. because
Okay.
you always see me and her at the music conference back in the 90s. So with that in mind, we were always doing stuff, and I said, so this would be really cool to just intern at the radio station. And Willie was just like, you need to just be on the show. And I think Willie was trying to find a way to actually not have to be on the show all the time, because it is a huge undertaking. And especially at a professional radio station like Morgan State University, WEAA, you have to be there when you say you're going to be there, and you have to leave. You can't leave early. It's I don't want to sound like this. It's not like someone who's got a little podcast that they're working on. This is FCC stuff, 88.9. So I took it seriously. But Willie was like, you should be on the show. So I was a music promoter, so I always had music. I had everything. Hip hop, down tempo,
That might be that.
some house music. And it was like, okay, well, I'm doing this now as well too. So that long came on. Justin was there. And eventually, after Willie actually moved to Florida, he had an opportunity, and I think it's, if you ever have an opportunity to do something somewhere else and everything's like right there for you to do it, he did it. So he just left us the show. We switched it up, and of course, our show we were doing our thing. We were playing different styles of music. We weren't doing a lot of house music because we didn't want to overlap with the underground experience. But then,
they was on at the same time.
no, they were on from 8 to midnight. We were on from midnight to 5.
I remember that.
Yeah. So there's a point where it's just like, house music is being played. We don't need to do any of it, but we can do something every once in a while. We can do a little thing. We could do some. I mean, everyone knows that every house DJ is different.
Yeah.
They like different things. They gravitate towards different things. So that was all set up, and then sure enough, the underground experience gets canceled.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
I didn't know what happened.
That's a long story, but that had something to do with what they were. They were trying to figure out how to. I don't know what was going on. I have no idea, but they were trying to do something with the diaspora. With
They wanted to add African World Beat.
Okay.
African World Beat was at Sunday night from midnight to 5, and they were just like, hey, it would probably be better after Caribbean Affair, because they were like noon to 8. Then we, as opposed to having the underground experience, they're going to put African World Beat there, and then have Pope and OG show the underground experience on Sunday night, which is Sunday night into Monday morning.
Oh no, they wasn't going to put them on Sunday. I think they wanted to shorten the show.
They would. There's lots of stories out there.
Yeah.
So
I heard all that. I heard all of the things.
yeah. So then all of a sudden, they just were not happy about it. And he was like, "You're running our show. We worked hard to get this audience and all this other stuff, and then you switched them." And I think one of the other things I heard was Lovey was going to leave 88.9.
Yeah, he told me that himself.
He was, I mean, he wasn't upset or anything. He was just like, the slot sucks where he was, which was Sunday night, midnight to 5 in the morning. Who's going to listen then?
Right.
That's true. That's true.
That's a fair assessment. So,
And he wanted, they had approached him to a show.
Wait a minute,
He didn't want to leave.
Can y'all help me? Why is this ringing? Why is it ringing?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to. That's what I was trying to figure it out.
This is a little
What?
hollow.
It's ringing. The microphone is ringing in our ears. It's like
No, your microphone. It might be your microphone.
I wasn't talking. He was talking.
What I hear is I hear echo. I don't hear the echo anymore because a lot of it's that. But I was hearing the echo when you were talking. It sounded like it was getting like a feedback.
That
okay,
wasn't.
I'm going to speak this way. This should help it out then.
No, it's a ring afterwards. Like we got an open mic somewhere else.
Oh, I know what you're talking. I understand the concept of what you're saying. But do you want me to continue?
So
It's still doing it.
it is.
There you go.
That was.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, got you.
It would drive me crazy.
Oh, so it wasn't that. It
No,
was
it
that.
wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't.
Because I was going to say, I keep hearing the echo. All right. Oh, you better hold up. Technical difficulties. Hi. Welcome
I ain't
to the Thommy
ashamed. I
Davis
blow up
Show.
sound systems for a living.
Welcome to the Thommy Davis Show.
So I'm sorry.
Starting
Patrick, go.
over.
Continue.
Okay.
You were talking about what happened when they took the underground experience off.
Okay, they took the underground experience off, and they offered that slot to Love. and no one was happy. I was there at that last show too. I think Henry was there. Everyone was there. We were just like, it was a very sad thing, but it just didn't. It just didn't end right.
And for those who's not in Baltimore, the underground experience was Pope, OG, and Henry.
Yeah.
I interned the last year and a half.
Yeah, and when we was going to the club, we all would listen to the underground experience before the club because they would play the stuff that we wanted to hear. You'd be hyped up, ready to go. How many years did they run?
Let me see. Pope told me that the story Pope told me was that the station from 77 to 89 wasn't 24 hours. It would end at midnight and then start up again at 6. So the general manager at the time, his name was Preston, had an idea. And Pope and Vinny B were students. They were mass comm students. So he gave them a show from midnight to 5:30. The first half of the show, they play like hip hop, reggae, R&B.
Okay.
And the second half, they play house. I don't know which order it was. So it got so many good responses that he gave Vinny strictly hip hop. At the time, it was from midnight to 5:30. And they gave Pope Saturday night from 7 p.m. to midnight. And originally, the name of the show was called Back on the Block.
Really?
I remember that.
Oh wow! So there's a lot of history in Morgan and audio, and and
like you said,
audio.
everyone before you go to the clubs in Baltimore, you could get if you can say like you were sick and you was like, I can't go up, you could get some really authentic house music.
Like you was at the club.
Like he was at the club. Because Pope and OG knew what to play. They were not going to play. I hate to say it, but not the Follow Me.
No.
The Dirty Birdie.
Yeah, there's a couple of songs where I don't ever need to hear them again in a club setting, in a house music setting. But I still like the songs where it's like, no, So with that in mind, you could get really good house music on that show.
Yep.
And that show went off the air. And Willie, to his credit, I thought this was a great idea. He said, we're not playing house music for a while. They're going to feel the pain of getting rid of that show. And
really?
Yeah, Willie said, we're not doing it. We're not going to be like, we're going to substitute it in. No, we're just like, no, they're going to feel the pain. And I don't know if listenership went down or whatever, or you want people to at least feel the pain and be like, hey, if you feel upset, say something.
Yeah.
But we're not going to bail you out because they got rid. I mean, that's 4 solid hours of house music, and we just couldn't turn the show into like the house music, so that just seemed wrong to the style of music that we were playing.
So the people don't know, this is a college university media department thing. So they get membership. Membership drive is what drives it to help pay. So if people are not happy, the membership drive will go down. Yeah. So Willie was thinking like, hey, let's not do it and see what happens. Right?
Yeah,
Am I guessing?
I think so. The one thing I can say is that there was no issue with membership drives at 88.9 for that show. I mean, for that show and Strictly Hip Hop, if you ask me, both of those shows were really doing really good. There's another story I'm going to tell you offline about Strictly Hip Hop.
Okay, no, Tracy, hit this cone of silence.
Yeah.
Okay, no.
Listen to this radio music.
But yeah, there was a point where Strictly Hip Hop and that show was making good money on the membership, or they were bringing members.
Right.
OG is a very good communicator, obviously a mass comm
Yeah.
graduate, so he knew what to do and how to say it, and he was just great at that. So eventually we started playing house music, and then by the time Willie left to go to Florida, I mean, we were just like, okay, we've got to do. But the only people that were listening to the show were DJs. I wouldn't say that, but a lot of people that like music, but the DJs, but there was no structure.
Okay.
And I said, we need to get some structure. We need to do something. Okay,
for those who just tuned in Radio Land and also on Facebook, you are listening to the Thommy Davis Show on Power 4.0 Radio. Our guest star, Claudio Infusion, with his Patrick Scientific and HDM the band. And if you have any questions, comments, or you would just like to say anything, and also sponsor us, just say it in the chat room and Facebook, or call Liz. What's up with the phone? Wait a minute.
Where she found the phone? You can call it. Hey, big shout out to people in the chat. Let's see. We got Sheeno Black.
Yeah.
We got Rodney Williams.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got DJ Bigelow, Richard Houston,
T-Bates.
and T-Bates.
The Hulk.
Lawrence Bell. Y'all got some people in here.
Okay. So I have the phone number 410-591-6124. So just either one, put a comment inside of Facebook, or two, give us a call. We would love to hear from you, and please download the app because we sound so much better in stereo. Okay, back to
Back to Patrick. Now, Patrick, I've known you before you even had dreads, so your dreads is down your back. So, and I think I've been in that station more times than I can count, doing many, many different things and stuff like this. So, I have to say thank y'all so much for always looking out for the house community. If y'all don't know, these guys show up at Collective Minds festivals and give out ice cream. What y'all giving out? Sweat towels and
PCDs.
Right.
A lot of stuff.
So that's important.
Yeah, so I think I'm remembering where I was. So we were we would where was it? on?
Willie left. And,
Yeah, Willie left.
Okay,
And
so
y'all have
there was no structure.
Right.
That's where we ended. So there was no structure. So I ended up saying, look, we can't just keep doing the show like this is with no structure, because then people won't know what. I mean, there'll be a lot of people that'll listen, but if they don't like something they're hearing, they'll just turn away. Because we played we were so diverse in what we played, you didn't know what you were going to hear. That's good for DJs, but it's not necessarily good for the general audience. So I said, Justin, we need to get some people in. And the best thing to do is play house music right at midnight. And if they're feeling it, that will be the audience. We can keep doing that. And we started off that, then we played singles, and we played some more house music and some drum and bass at 3. Then we played some more stuff at 4, and then gospel grace. So we had that format. We've been doing that format for like over a decade. But that was how we started off. So I was like, Justin, you want to do an hour of house music? Fine. Then Justin is married with kids. So he's living in Colombia. He's doing well. We have him on every once in a while, but it's always good to see him come through. And once that was going on, and then somehow or another, I was like, I don't know how Henry came on the show, but I said, yeah, you should be on the show. It wasn't like he had to intern. It was just like, yeah, Henry, you're here. Nice.
But you was part of Underground Experience.
Yeah.
Right.
And I remembered that. So I was just like, yeah, let's make that happen. That was back at the old station, I think.
Yeah. Untold.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot it was somewhere else. Right.
It was at 2 places. I found out later. It was somewhere else before Untold, I think, when it started. And I believe the downstairs of Untold was for the students. And then once they were good enough, then they made it upstairs.
Wow.
I have a couple of comments that were inside of Facebook. DJ Damon Ramsey said hi.
Hey, so dang.
He said, when's the next time you guys are going to have one house, one nation at the studio?
When you have time.
Well, it was all 2 people. We was in there. We were all in one house, and she was in there.
But he was no crew. I had asked David a couple months ago if I knew he booked up for other kids. So I said, well, look, reach back a little bit later.
And
but he want the crew up. So,
yeah.
So I got to work that with Pat.
Okay.
This is going to be okay.
And that's another thing that he said. Can you touch on your big part in Collective Minds? Because at one point, you guys were, the ones you were the first ones to have the Collective Minds crew in the studio. So he wanted to see if you could touch on that. I'm sorry. First of all, did you have anything else to?
No. I'm looking at this.
He's finished off with we started. So we did the show. We had the format, and that format has stayed. So since that format has stayed, we've gotten a lot of people to come through. Then it was just like, I need more DJs, because I was DJing like house music, drum and bass, hip hop, down tempo, and I'm like, okay, I can't keep up. I might have been single at that time, so you have the extra money to do all that stuff. I'm married with kids now, so I love you, Ashley. So that changed everything.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, the formatting changed, hour this, hour that, hour that, hour that. So it kind of the show kind of broke down into segments, which was great. And one of the things we started doing, I believe, was at 1 o'clock, we were just like, let's have some interviews. And, you know, it was great to, and let's just have, if there's a special event going on, let's bring that DJ to the station to talk about that event. And that would help them, it would help us. You know, everyone wants to know who's doing what, and you could actually get a quick conversation or listen to it really quickly live on air, because FM radio is free.
Yeah.
You don't have to download an app. You
Yeah.
could download an app, but I mean, you can buy a $3 radio and listen to it.
Right.
You know, so that's something that we were doing, and that's when Henry got more. Because Henry, actually, I told Henry, you do the 12 o'clock hour. I don't want to have to deal with it anymore. Meaning manage it, and it's one of the best things I've ever done.
What? So he's talking about the legendary HDM.
More in the background.
No.
Oh no, you be
Yeah, so
killing it. On
let's hear
Friday.
your version of how you went from underground experience to audio fusion. I mean, because for real, you guys, y'all spend a lot of time. That is, you can't take a day off. Say, you know what, I'm not gonna do it today. Or you got a job, you got kids, you got babies. Y'all never stop. Y'all keep doing it. Y'all figured out a way to keep doing it.
Technology.
One day I go in there, it's just Patrick. One day I go in there, it's Henry. It's like, y'all figured this out.
Yeah, I mean, it's been technology has helped out too. I always want to say COVID has been like an odd thing where it's like, oh, we figured out we can do this with COVID. We had to do stuff with COVID. We couldn't be there in the station if we had to do everything remotely. So that got to a point where it's like, okay, this is helping us a lot. So,
wow. Y'all had, I came in during COVID. Y'all, nobody else could get in the building. Y'all had to lock the building down.
Only the board.
Right. Y'all didn't stop. You just get no. Like y'all kept going. Well, Henry, and your 3 minutes is up, Patrick. I'm sorry. When I come on your show, I only get 3 minutes, so you're done.
So you got to add comedian to talent.
Oh, that's
Now, for people who don't know, I'm referring. Me and Tracy did it for like an internship, like one day, and it was down to 3 minutes. And that 3 minutes went like this. I said, "Wait till Patrick come on the show. I'm cutting them off at 3 minutes."
It did. I guess already almost 8 o'clock.
Yeah, you know, that's another thing. And Damon's still talking to you. He said Henry Man is one of the most underrated DJs ever. And I have to agree, you are. I'm saying
I agree too.
hands on radio, you're killing it. When you substitute for Pope, you kill it. The Quantides party, I think it was the Libra party, and Safari killed it. So yeah, you know, Henry the Man, when you gonna start coming up to cassette tapes?
They all digitized. They on this style now.
All of them?
Yeah.
So you mentioned it. Tell them where to go what you talking
Oh, Henry the
about.
Man. It's on Mixcloud. I call it progression mixes. And I started from when my styles first started coming together, which was around 87, 88. And I just move up a year. Just so people who don't know or how I evolved, that I got a timeline from 87. Right now I'm up to 2003. So you can see how I was, and you can see how I'm slowly growing and progressing with the sound. So I did that. I knew a lot of DJs always put new stuff to make new mixes up, which is fine. I decided to try something different.
Right.
And, you know, most of the cassettes were pretty good condition.
Wow. And that's not easy to do. To transfer them over. Right.
Good.
Transfer them over.
Good
You only
thing.
transfer a cassette over in real time.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Right.
Yeah.
You can't speed it up or something like that. No.
Well, good thing, because you know cassette tapes are coming back. People are actually literally giving out cassettes of their new music, new artists and stuff like that.
Right.
They're actually coming back.
I remember Large Professor, actually his last release, he said he was the first one I heard to say, we actually got cassettes available.
Oh, no.
I just threw my cassette players out.
I still have mine. My cool cassette tape. Yeah, I could make you a copy.
I think one of the best cassettes I got was from Chris Begg. So
Really?
These cassettes were good. They were well thought out and planned. And they ended like right at the end of it. Just like, okay, it's not like it ends and then it's still banging real hard, and then all of a sudden you're trying to flip it over and then something else. His just kind of ended, and then he flipped over and you're just like, oh, this is good. So his Chris Bates, R.I.P. Chris.
Yeah. So Henry, you're a humble guy, man. You need to be a little bit more arrogant because you got skills, bro. And that means you just gotta act like I'm speaking to y'all, and then they'll book you. It seems like that only the people with the big heads get the gigs.
Yeah.
Right. But I've seen so many people that DJs that feel like once they got bigger than the music, it was over for them. And I never want to be that guy.
The people that listen to this guy is a historian of music. Henry, what year did Born This Way call me? Come out, watch this one.
76.
See, there you go.
Yeah, it was originally released on Motown.
See?
Don't ask me that.
And they were like, let me check it with my friend Google.
He is Google.
But once I got back into the scene, that was when I really wanted to learn the history or business, the people, the DJs before me, how did they play, like yourself. Like another DJ, we text each other all the time. He's put me down with music, DJ Mandrill. Pope, me and Pope talk at least once a week. We talking about music, more new music. And then we actually talk about classics because I like to know kind of classics they were playing in Chicago. He was there, And I learned about New York, New Jersey classics as well, and the Clubhouse and Odell's. I like to learn more about Odell's because I know bits and pieces. And you were a part of it. Well, you were a part of that at one time, right?
All of that. I mean, you need to donate your brain to science, because I don't know how you remember all that stuff. You remember everything. Like Henry, what was the first record I ever did? Watch this show.
You get the whole.
See.
Tommy Trent.
Oh, man.
Blue record. It was like Carolina blue, black writing on it.
All right.
I don't know if that was the original one or it was, but I got that.
It was the original.
That was the
I went
original.
pink after that.
Yeah. I got the pink label at home.
What was the first Ultra's first record?
It's over, right?
See?
Yeah.
As a walker.
I remember Jerome used to play the reel to reel for like at least 6 months.
And that's why you guys are great, because y'all carry the history. Y'all been around long enough to watch, and we know each other.
Something interesting to some of our younger interns at the radio station, since we know music and I don't want to say historians of music, but we tend to realize that the younger kids don't know what's been played. They'll hear like there was a song, hold on. It was something like some song, and I was just like, it was
Go ahead, I work at record studio.
It's like Wrecking Ball or something. Who did that song?
Oh, Miley Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
And I was just like, to my intern, I said, that is just the Art of Noise, Moments in Love backwards.
You know what? You're right.
You're right. You're right.
You're right.
And I was like, that's not original. And I had to bring her into the room, into like this other room, played the video of Moments in Love. She's like, oh, wow. And that's something you kind of understand. That the one thing I think I love about 88.9 is we can get a young person in, they can say something, and we can be like, that's not what that really is.
Yeah.
That's this.
You got it.
And then you can show them, and they can look at you funny with them, like, okay, guess I didn't know. I was like, it's okay, but you can spread the history through to them as well too. And I think that's 88. WEAA. It's a learning lab. It's Morgan State University is an educational. It's an educational institution.
Mm-hmm.
So I take the stuff that I put out on air and the music and the information that we try to tell people about. That's important for people to know, because when people don't know stuff.
Yeah. Once your history is gone, everything.
And then if your history is like, what's the word I'm looking for? False information.
Oh yeah.
If people know something that's wrong, but they swear it's the truth, it's hard. Sometimes it's impossible to tell them, no, that's not true. That's never been true.
Yeah.
So you get to try to do all that stuff. And I take pride that anytime we play music and try to give out some information on 88.9, and we try to have people like you. We have people like you come up because someone will be like, house music, this house music, that would be like, well, let's get Tommy to tell him because he was there. Henry to tell him, he was there. So that's important, I think, in the music industry and for the youth.
So wait a minute.
Wait a minute. This sounds like a documentary. Y'all right there, all three of y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need
So
to sit down
Patrick,
and do something
he
like
did
this.
something new. I started listening to after the house thing and said, I like some of this drum and bass thing. Is it because you would hit the drum and bass stuff that I would never be exposed to unless I was still on the show listening. And I was like, wow, so much of this is nice.
It is very nice. And you'd probably like liquid drum and bass. I'm sure you would. I like the ambient stuff, the stuff from like there's a record label, counterintelligence.nl. They're from the Netherlands.
Okay.
They made some really good drum and bass.
That was just great. I mean, in Baltimore, we have a very closed-minded culture. They don't want to hear anything different what they already know. And you courageously did it and still do it.
Yeah.
And including independent hip hop. Like people they only know the pop stuff. They don't know Premiere and Google. They don't know. And you go back and pull independent people up. The songs, I was like, this is real hip hop. And so I still listen when you play that. I said, this is what I don't hear on the radio.
I know that's a problem with commercial radio. Commercial radio, I have no idea what their thought process is money. Because they've got to make money and they're just going to make money on the youth. So if the youth like it, they're going to play more of it. But there's a point where I know when we program the hip hop on our show, we're not going to just play the stuff. It's got to be an unusually good song that we really like that we're going to, we like this, we're just going to play because we really like it. I think there was a song, Ludacris, Number One Spot.
Oh, yeah.
I think we played it. I was just like, well, we might have to play this song because I think it's a really good song.
Yeah,
so we can play it, but
Quincy Jones sample. Yeah, that's Quincy Jones. Austin Powers took it.
Yeah.
And then Ludacris took it.
Yeah. But that's important though, because someone would only think that Ludacris took it from Austin Powers, and then But I think that's something that we definitely try to do with the hip hop. We real like these '90s rappers can wrap circles around some of these new rappers.
Yes,
they're not really good.
Yeah,
right.
Lyrically,
and they don't tell stories anymore.
No, they just go thesauruses and match words.
And that's what hip hop used to be. We told everybody our story. You knew what was going on in that area because of hip hop. They used to, give you what they saw within their area. So yeah, nowadays,
so it's a little different, but
everybody's getting caught upon the dancery.
Yeah. So
the comment on what you were saying, Tommy, about people are closed-minded when it comes to house. I think now, because house music is the biggest alternative genre of music, and I think as we got older, and then people listen to commercial radio and they hear hip hop is not for them because of the business. Since the 60s, the biggest selling age group is 19 to 25. So that's what they give music to.
Mm-hmm.
So as we get older, they don't make music like they used to, even some of the R&B stuff. So when they tune into the audio infusion, they hear sub-genres that they're not used to or they didn't like in the beginning. They'll start to get a little open to it because now they get familiar with it now because this community kind of shut you out because they're not supporting it. This community keeps playing it. And now it's like, wow, this don't sound that bad. Even if they don't go out and buy it, they're going to still listen. Yeah. And like you brought up drum and bass. I wasn't a drum and bass fan either until I started listening.
And I sold it in record stores. I had to sell it. But you got a great ear. You pick this stuff out that everybody can appreciate.
Yeah, you got to get the right DJs too to be like, okay, I know this DJ is going to do some stuff. Prime Time and Rebel and Sleepy, and I had before I had Gangsta Fun and Skilla. They started when dubstep came out. That genre just came and it was just like everywhere. So we had some dubstep DJs, and there was a bunch of drum and bass DJs who decided to do that as well too. Then I had Godfather Sage do his thing. He's really good. He played some style of music. He called it post drum and bass. There's a bunch of drum and bass producers that did something else. So we really try to go all around with it. But the one thing I was saying about when we had interns and house music, R&B remixes are fantastic. If they know the song,
Yeah.
and you put it into a house format, they'll be like, okay. And if the girls will dance to it,
Yeah.
then the guys should start dancing with them, hopefully at the club. If you know,
That's the rule. That's the rule.
Yeah, Booby.
Gotta
I mean,
get to the women.
Booby.
Get to the
Yeah,
women.
Booby's killing it with the R&B house stuff.
He started it.
he did. He'd always at the end of his track, his mixtapes, there'd be a track like some like Boys and Men song, but he put like a 4-to-the-floor beat to the behind it. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Can we pause it right there? Since a lot of people that listen to us on Radio Land don't know Baltimore, question is, who's DJ Booby?
DJ Booby is
He's coming on the show.
okay. He can explain that, but he's
The legend.
a legendary
In
DJ in
Baltimore,
Baltimore.
Right.
Definitely the king of mixtapes.
Yeah, mixtapes.
King.
King.
Yeah,
Gang.
he was. Track 47, that was hot. I still got my copy. But yeah, there was the mixtape game, and depending on the genre of music that you're good at, you know, you can sell mixtapes and really make a good amount of money. And he was good with the Baltimore Club, and I think the Baltimore Club, that was the genre of it. But
He did house and he did a lot of R&B, hip hop mashups.
Before anybody else was doing
Before
it.
anybody else was doing.
but that's the point I was making, was that I think that's something that's that needed to happen. I know it happened well in the 90s. Oh my goodness. This is something that DJ Pope did for when I was going to Strictly Hip Hop and hanging out with them,
Mhm.
I'd go in the back and look at the records, and I'm like, wait a minute. This is Beyonce featuring Slim Thug. Check up on it. Maurice Joshua remix. Why do they have this song? So I'm like, you gonna play this ever? He's like, knock yourself out, man. Those are his would knock yourself out. I got a whole bunch of Columbia records that were house remixes that were just R&B house remixes of R&B songs. John Legend, Ordinary People. That's the first version I heard of that song.
Really?
It
Was the house
streamed,
version.
the house version. And then I heard the song original. Like I heard the original song. Like I know this song, but I don't know where I know it from. It took me like weeks to figure out that I knew the house version, and that was the original version. I'm like, oh,
That's like the New Marks song that you got, the Basement Boys remixed. A lot of people didn't know the regular version.
What's it doing good?
Yeah. And then when they found out, oh wow, that was a hip hop version, like a lot of people still don't know they Do It Good was actual hip hop too, because you guys like dismantled it. You know, it was
Well,
hot.
they asked us. We had to do all the Philly to do that.
Yeah.
But when we talk about, there's a big discussion about this. Is that, you know, people that call themselves aficionados in house say, I'm so sick of these mashes, but they don't realize that that's how we bring new people in, because to them it sounds strange until they hear that record, till they hear something they say, I like the song. You put a beat with it, and all of a sudden they coming back. They say, well, I like house music. They change their perception. And in Baltimore, if you're from out of town, that's our biggest scene. Like you go to a club, and these are not house heads. These are people that became house heads because they listen to a certain DJ that plays a lot of mashes.
That's another thing too that I have to say about that. So my nephew, Jay, he just turned 21, and he actually loves house music, right? But he had no idea that it was house music. He's like, I don't listen to that stuff you listen to. You don't know what you're talking about. Blah 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 blah. This right here, dance music. And then I turned on I forgot whose flash drive I had. And he was like, well, I like this. What's this? Where you get this dance stuff from? It was like early 90s, house music.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, do you really want to know? He's like, yeah. He was like, I was like, this is house music. He was like, oh my God, so you're trying to tell me that old? I'm like,
If
old
that's what he's
people-
on?
Yeah, he thought only old people listen to house music. He's like, 'cause you real old. I'm come on, but
Well,
I'm
Tracy, you don't
like,
look old. You don't
You
look old.
know,
You don't,
What?
you just really
we're
don't.
not just saying that.
yeah, oh, thank you, but I'm just thinking, I'm like, come on. So it's out there. People love it. They just don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's a lot of factors in it. A lot of factors. I mean, that factor, they don't know that's house music. People don't know that if you.
Afro beats.
And it's also different generations. Like for us as kids, disco at one point was ruling, especially when
right.
Saturday Night Fever, the movie dropped for like a period of 3 years.
Yeah.
You couldn't escape it. And then when the whole disco demolition thing went down, and then it went back underground. So for us that was now teenagers, we knew it as club music.
Yeah.
So it kind of stayed with us until then when house music left Chicago and started going to other places, which Baltimore was one of the first. Tommy.
I've been fighting this for a long. I didn't want to call it house music. I mean, I had to call it house because that's what people were calling it. But to me, it's dance music because none of the house music have any similarities. You know what I mean? When you listen to Jersey, I'm using these genres that's contemporary.
Yeah.
Jersey, and you listen to what's in London, you listen to what's in Baltimore, you listen to what's in California. So it's different. To put it all together, it's like saying we all from the same tribe in Africa. That's not true.
Patrick Adams actually said that, in an interview, that this was all dance music to him.
Yes.
He was doing disco heavy at one point, and he said it was all dance. And all those other
It's a
styles.
better term. It's a better term.
I do have a question for the room as far as house music is concerned. When did it switch? Because at one time, house music was just house music. When did it start crashing into all of these subgenres and,
I got a part of the answer.
all of that stuff.
Tommy can correct me if I'm wrong. I think once the
Listen to
music
this.
started once it started reaching overseas, and then they started coming up with their versions, I think that was when the subgenre started.
Mhm.
Two-step, garage, not the Paradise Garage, but their own version of garage.
Yep.
Hard house. And then it kind of started over there because it took off way bigger overseas than it did in the States. It was never that big in the States. It was more or less like underground.
Right.
We think it was bigger, but it wasn't doing the sales that they was doing.
I.e., black people music in urban cities.
I agree with everything, but I think there's a point where you see people typing like different either places or collectives of people have a certain style that they like. All of a sudden, there's the South African style of house music.
That's
But then for some reason, I like Italian house music.
I think
Talio, right?
Yeah.
And I know this guy I know the president of a record label over there, and I'm working with him on making sure that I get stuff, whatever.
uh-huh.
But I love the music on Irma Records.
Oh yeah, that's
Caesar,
Mm-hmm.
Karen. I mean, all the stuff that I met him at the Winter Music Conference at Glenn Thornton's party. The Slab.
okay.
Like, it's like,
So then I'm there and I'm meeting him, and then also I'm like, we talk, and all of a sudden I get a song from him, and like all of a sudden I'm going to the track source and I'm buying all sorts of Irma record music because I like the songs, I like the way they do it. It's disco-y,
It is. It
which
is.
it's very good. So I'm
And
thinking, wow,
it's part of Baltimore's roots. I mean, I was in the record stores. I flooded them with Italian records. So, I mean, they know records that no other cities know. They know what a tittle tattle is or Feel the Drive. Or they knew Alexander Robotnik before he got picked up in the U.S.
Right.
You know, and they knew Stone Fox Chase before it became popular because I was just pumping it like, hey, take this, take this.
Oh wow! So you were the one.
Oh man, Bernie. I was with
Yeah.
Bernie, and Bernie had imports. And then when I
Right.
went to Metro, I just started buying making sure they had all the stuff.
You
So-
know,
But when I'm sorry, you go ahead, and then after that, I'm gonna say something.
because I know we got some listeners that's not from here.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some questions they want to have. But one question I can ask you, Tommy, and I kind of know some of the answer, but you might be able to answer it better. One of the things in the Baltimore scene that is known here is that the music is aggressive.
Yeah.
When do you think that started?
And
Because when you hear Odell's and their fantasy, it was a different type of energy than when they did when they reached the Paradox.
I think I have an answer for that. But go ahead.
well, no, actually the music changed. You know, I mean, when it went to Paradox, was after Fantasies already had this private audience that really were transfers from Odell's. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like anything, what we see happening over and over again, is we see them age out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Most people they want to dance in between 18 and 25. And then after then you go to school, you go to army, you go to service, you get married, you have kids and something like this. And another generation has to pick it up. It's going to change. Every time that happens, it's going to change. So now when you go to a house party, last night I looked around, I saw more guys, no disrespect, with gray beards. So if I was 18 and I went to a house party and everybody had gray beards, I would say this is old people music.
See, you know, back to what my nephew said.
Wait a minute, I want to hear what he
music.
And he's going to just look at the great people. It's not going anywhere.
You earned it.
I grew mine.
If I grew mine, it'd be great.
So that solidifies what my nephew said. Oh,
Yeah.
I listen to old people music.
That's why he said it.
Oh man, that's sad. That's really sad.
I think there's like something somewhat false about that, because the old people that have been listening that like house now, we've been listening to it for decades.
Yes.
Right,
It
right.
didn't just like, it wasn't a thing where we were just like, yeah, I'm going to listen to this even though old people like it.
Mm-hmm.
No.
You know, you just kind of like the music, and we never stopped. And to a certain extent, they're starting into it. And that's another thing I want to mention that I like about the audio infusion. If you can get people to listen to it, they're going to hear something different.
Yeah.
We're not going to play the same stuff that you know. You know, you probably never hear me. You'll never hear me play "Follow Me," Elias. I love the song. I'm
Mhm.
happy with the group. I'm happy it blew up. But you'll never hear me play that on 88.9. You never hear Pope and OG play that on 88.9. So there's a point where if you wanted to hear something new and different, and you had that mentality of like, okay, there's more than what I'm hearing on the radio. I can listen to some other place and maybe I'll like it. You can do that with our show, and that's something that I always love doing. You know, getting new stuff in from different places, getting music from getting music from all over the world. You know, that's important to me, because I think at the Collective Minds, when I played, there was a song I was very nervous about playing because it was in Italian. I have no idea what she was singing, but I like the song though.
Yeah.
You played it?
I played it.
And the reaction was?
I think it might have cleared the dance floor, but I think my whole set was different.
They were like, wait a minute, she's talking about, I like fried chicken. I ain't dancing to this.
The Afro records, they saying the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, bringing the cats if you want to go that far.
Well, yeah.
It doesn't have to be that serious, but there's a point where it's just like, okay, the music was
I think
produced
that's
correctly. It was nice. Everything was a nice bass line.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, this is a great song. I got to play it because no one else is going to play it. So that's where I think to a certain extent, you kind of find your role in whatever genre of music that you deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to play anything that's commercially known. You know, I might play a song in another language. I might play something that's Hispanic. You know, it just doesn't matter. I'll try to play something that I think that's unique, that I like, that works.
Well, that's a good thing, because like I say this all the time. I think I said it at 88.9. Good DJs play what people want to hear. Great DJs play what you didn't know that you needed to hear.
Right.
So that's the great thing about that. That's the only way you can break records. And a lot of people, a lot of DJs that I talk to, maybe I should be on the camera. Wait a minute. You know, pause, 20-second pause. Anyway,
She trying to be radio and television.
yeah, I'm trying to do radio and television. So, a lot of people, a lot of DJs that I've talked to said, you can come to Baltimore and break records. Like, you put on the right record, especially like back in the day, 347 and the Paradox, and it could be something that just came out you've never heard before. And then, you know, the Baltimore crowd will go crazy and start acting like they're throwing stuff at you and cussing people out and things of that sort. Yes, that's how we react to DJs in Baltimore.
We give them energy like that. And they hear something, especially if the rhythms are good, then you will get a reaction. But other times, I have to admit, it's a little rough.
Yeah.
Depends on what kind of.
Either they love you or
Yeah,
they hate you.
either, right.
That's Baltimore.
Baltimore, kind of like that. The Apollo in a sense.
Yeah. Oh, and to your question, this is my opinion, but I know when I was going to fantasies, I was like 14. So I went on a Friday. I mean, I went on a Saturday. They kicked me out. They said, "Come on Friday." So I would say that the tempo switch when Unruly came out, because Unruly was the transition from house music, and they kind of sped it up to the Baltimore club. And on Fridays, they kind of catered to Baltimore club and fast paced on house music, like your Al Rock Tees, your because remember hip house. Everybody thinks that rapping on house music is new. Queen Latifah did it. MC Light did it with 10% Disc. Moni Love did it.
House Party.
Yeah, the Jungle Brothers, things of that sort. So I think that's when it changed, when hip hop started recognizing house music and also Baltimore club,
I think
because that was a
Boobie-
new sound for them.
I think Boobie again was one of the DJs because he used to blend R&B stuff over hip hop beats sped up.
Mhm.
And I know Frank Ski also had a role because he had a show that
Yeah.
also showcased it. That also helped, along with what you said too.
Yeah,
So,
it's
let's-
Fridays,
I want to
goodness.
say this as well too. 92Q. We can't just not say that
You're right.
they had a huge
Yeah, 92Q and V103
yeah
at that point. Yep.
yeah,
So
and maybe even
y'all
we
ever
can
see
go
that
back
as
to
a competition?
1360 AM.
You know?
Yeah.
Do y'all see our
WEBB.
competition with the other broadcast stations?
No.
Yeah, I remember at one time before us, like especially with Strictly Hip Hop and Underground Experience, I do know for a period of time they was all listening to hear what those shows was coming out with. You know, it wasn't more we listening to what they're playing. They pretty much listening to us because we're keeping up with what's going on in the underground.
Yeah, because
So
The
I want to know
first-
some other questions.
As
Did they
far
ever
as
come to
hip-hop
y'all and
goes,
say,
I'm going to answer your question.
can you come to regular 92? Hey, Patrick, can you leave EA and come to 92?
No.
They never do that.
I think I applied when that 105 points. I think I applied to just DJ at that station just to be like, I need to
5.7.
to be like I made an attempt. I didn't even get picked or whatever. But as far as the audio infusion, where can I play house music, hip hop, drum and bass, down tempo, some music that's in Italian? Where can I do
And
that?
interview people
And interview
of your
people.
choice.
Wow. Yeah.
I can't do that at
So
Radio One, and I respect Radio One for what they do. And I think that's the other. I think there was WEBB and WWIN AM stereo.
yeah.
I'm dating myself on that, but you know, there's a difference. I think I was talking to a guy named Zoltar, and he said the difference between college radio and commercial radio is college radio is about the music. Commercial radio is about how you can make money.
Yeah.
How you get more
Yep.
commercials.
And that's the goal. You gotta do that. So you gotta tell someone like how you can make money off of this.
Yeah.
And you gotta hope that once you do, I mean, I think that one of my friends had a show on a radio, one show or a CBS radio station.
Yeah.
And it was like Neo Soul was out there, so they did a really good job in building that show up, and that some executive thought, well, we could do this and make more money. And of course, they ruined that show, and it was off soon after. So I would never try to go that route because I'm not going to ever have control,
The freedom.
the freedom. That freedom's going to be gone as soon as you do something like that.
So
And
I think the listener want to know, what were some of the barriers over what you said 10 years? So you want to share. I mean, because there's other people out here listening that really want to figure out how y'all do this and how you do this. I want to pick your brains. Like, so
Yeah,
what were some of the barriers that y'all had to go through? You mentioned one. You got married and you had kids.
yeah.
And
I always
how'd
tell
you do
Henry
that?
that if it wasn't for Henry, I might not be married. My wife would not be having it. But I think
COVID was a barrier.
COVID was a barrier. I think the real, I don't want to say there's lots of barriers. If you have freedom,
Uh-huh.
that's beautiful. Like African World Beat, that show with DJ Lovey,
Oh, yeah. Let's do a show.
I can't see any other commercial radio station playing the music that he plays.
Yeah.
Having the people, when you have that freedom, I mean, I think the bigger question would be, how could I do it on a commercial radio station for all these years? And I'd be like, I don't know how I could do it.
Well, I want to say that too. I've done a lot of shows. You guys follow the major station shows. Every song that somebody play, you tell them you have to report it in. The other stations don't do that. Y'all make sure that y'all covered with the publishing and what songs
Oh,
we
yeah,
play.
because
And
we got well, every show is required to send in the playlist to Sound Exchange.
even if it's a mix show, y'all say,
Right.
give me a list.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have to do that. Also, station won't get in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think to answer your question,
Mhm.
it's not hard to do it when you have the freedom to do what you want. When you don't have the freedom to do what you want,
It's hard.
that's hard because then I have to play Follow Me. And I love the song, but like that's the ultimate song to be like, why am I playing this song? Well, do you know the crowd wants to hear it? I'm like, no.
And
Once
that-
you sell
that
out,
song-
you sold out.
Yeah.
That
And,
song is as old as me. We're like the same age. You
and,
know.
I'm trying to think about music directors. There's a music director that's going to tell me you need to play this. And we've heard stories of DJs who've gone against the music director's
Mhm.
wishes and then
Yeah, get fired.
they get fired.
Yeah.
I remember Scotty B was talking about how he was playing like Cotton Eye Joe. And someone was like, what is that song? But the phone lines were lit. He said, give me that song. He lit that. I mean, and people just say, well, what's going on? He's like, that's a hot song. And there's a phone lines lit up.
Yeah.
So
And what?
You-
And what? He didn't want to. He didn't want Scotty to play.
I don't know
You
what
gotta
that's
explain what Cotton Eye Joe is to people that's listening. So that
Cotton Eye Joe is a song by a group called the Rednecks, REDNEX.
Mm-hmm.
And
That was a hot song.
yeah, there was a couple different versions. I think someone Armin van Helden's version was the popular one that everyone
Uh-huh.
played.
Yeah.
So it sounded like a country song.
Yeah, it's like
It was a country song, but
square dance music.
yeah, square dance music. But
Yeah.
someone
See, I
put it,
keep telling her about that polka music. Y'all ain't know it. Like,
but it worked though, and Scotty played it, and all of a sudden, there you have it.
So did they ever say something about you occasionally having curse words?
Yes.
There's a radio. They'll send everyone if it comes out more than just our show. They'll send us like what the radio rule is.
yeah.
To remind you.
Yeah,
Got a friendly reminder.
because we got one. It wasn't for us. It was something that happened on another show, and they said it's supposed to be played between this time and this time.
Oh, they listed what time it happened.
Well, not the time, but the time you can. I don't want to say all of it, but
I got
but
you.
there's a radio rule
But-
to it.
FCC rules say that you could play foul language between I want to say 10 at night and 6 in the morning or something like that.
I like that rule.
It's because they kind of assume that a kid shouldn't be
Yeah.
up at like 3 in the morning listening
Right.
to the radio.
Yeah.
And if it slips, okay, that's an okay. But like in the middle of the day,
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was driving through New Jersey one time, Wildwood, New Jersey, of course, late at night. And all the profanity I heard on, I was like, oh my God, is this the radio? I had to check. But it was between, it was like 1 to 3 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, your kid should be in bed.
Wait a minute.
Should be.
When I listen to 92Q, they cursing in the daytime.
that's not something I can comment
That
on.
is right.
They
No
talking about
comment.
sex. They
Wait, now,
talking
hold
about
on.
drugs. Wait
Wait a minute.
wait.
Wait a minute, disclaimer.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the music. The music is now it's in the popular records. They are supporting these
It's-
artists
Wait a minute,
that
hold
are
up.
saying things that's derogatory to our youth.
Wait a minute, hold up.
FCC rules only say that there's a few words you can't say. Subject matter is different.
Okay,
Yeah.
subject matter is
Yeah,
different.
So therefore, if you don't want to listen to it, you can always turn the channel or tell your kids don't turn the channel or turn the channel.
So that's the rule. So if I got a 3-year-old daughter and I say I can't leave the room because they might play something while I'm gone.
Yeah, then that's up to you.
Or
That's
unless,
up to you,
or
that's
unless
a
somebody
parent.
call and complain.
Yeah.
Because then it's the program director will go through the air check tapes and they hear just
Mhm.
for proof to hear what was said.
'Cause
If
they
it's
get
slippy, yeah, they can get
So wait a minute, hold up. Let me quick disclaimer. We are not bashing 92Q or any
No.
other radio station. We're just talking about the music.
I am. I'm passionate. Like if I cut on and if I'm standing
It's me
in a
this week.
store and I'm watching little kids singing this rap song and they saying the words to it. You know what I mean? It's like,
What?
that's not cool. That's not cool at all. And where are they getting it from? I said, they might get it from their parents. I mean, so I disagree with that too.
But you gotta.
Y'all should change that. Y'all shouldn't have let your 3-year-old be Disneyland and Frozen for a long time before they start talking about getting on the block. I got my clock. It's like,
But
what?
wait a
That's not
minute.
cool.
But wait a minute. When you think about the music that we played in the 70s or the early 80s and things of that sort,
We
right?
ain't do nothing like that.
No, pull up to my pepper. It was a
No,
Suggestive.
suggestive
No,
note. Yeah. And
no,
it's-
they said
so
that she's in my bed. I'm going to knock that out. Like,
Yeah,
come on,
yeah, but
that's
that's
what they mean.
that's today's
That's wrong. You can't
suggestive
compare it to the
music.
70s.
I've got too much comment on this now.
Right.
What we're talking about is balance.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before you could hear, here's a great example. Slick Rick, his album.
Uh-huh.
He had
Oh,
a
yeah,
song
treated
called
like a
Hey-
prostitute.
Yeah, but then Hey Young World.
Yeah.
He had both of them on there.
Yeah.
And then he had Children's Story.
Yeah.
So if there's no balance, and I agree, I think that balance is lost in commercial
Yeah,
radio.
it is.
It's just totally gone.
You mean they sold out for money?
Oh, yeah, they did.
Of course. They
And
didn't not making any money.
I
So-
feel that, if you could hear Public Enemy, Shut Them Down,
Uh-huh.
and then, or Rebel Without a Pause, and then you can hear LL Cool J, I'm Bad, or something. I mean, you get it all. If there's a balance, it's okay. But if you keep playing the same style of music, the same angry stuff,
Well, y'all radio guys, let me ask you a direct question. Do you think music affects a culture? So if it's okay to listen to trap music that's saying negative things, and you think, does it affect it, or it's just listening to music? It's like, not really. Nobody's going to go. It's like the people said, just because a gun doesn't shoot somebody, you know,
I
right?
remember
You
Chuck
have to
D.
pull the trigger.
I remember he was asked a question in the late 80s about that.
Okay,
And
it's a good question,
when you're young, you just caught up in the music.
right?
If you're older and you're hearing, seeing the whole thing, and then you can see how it's switching over, how people are now being influenced. They think they can tell the difference between life and music, which most people do. But then, as you saw, as what was Thug Life came into play, where people stopped dancing in the clubs.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to stand by the wall.
What?
Yeah.
So y'all agree with me?
Wait,
Hold on.
I have can I say something really quickly? Someone asked for the number to the radio station. The number to Power 410 is 410-591-6124. Thank you.
The one thing I can say is that
Hello, I guess they say
You
hello
can,
to Naruto.
a great song to think about is My Mind's Playing Tricks on Me by the Ghetto Boy.
Oh, that was a great song.
Is that, the song where
Oh, man.
the guy was talking about how he's paranoid and he's
Yeah.
a drug dealer.
Yeah.
What came first? Drug dealing and being paranoid? But the fact that he put it in a song and a bunch of drug dealers to be like, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, and see, that's what I'm talking about is hip hop. You always knew what was going on with the culture by the stories that they told. That's missing today.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Now, when I listen to Audio Infusion, I love it. It's like, I don't know who's programming the DJs. I don't care what week it is. It's skill. It's the music has energy and melody, even in hip hop. You know what I mean? I don't get that many modern music, but this is a lost art. It's like, wow. It's like, I listen to it every Friday. And because of that, because it's that. It has jazz. It has all kinds of other genres mixed in it.
yeah. And then we try to figure out we actually talk about this artist named Funky DL,
Right.
and we like his music. He's a hip hop artist. He's out of the UK.
And I think he's also a musician.
Yeah, I think he plays all his music too.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Because
nice.
he actually did a house EP last year, which is more on the loungy side, but it around 114 BPM.
Okay. That's
But
that
it-
new thing.
Yeah.
That started in South Africa. That's not
And the crazy thing, that was not South Africa. It was just straight soulful.
okay.
But the thing was, every song was 3 minutes and 14 seconds. Every
That used to
song
be the rule.
Yeah. But it's something you can more or less hear in restaurants, but you have to respect him because he did it. and he did it from more of a musician's point of view.
Perfect.
Yeah, but majority of sounds is hip hop, and the reason why I say I think he's a musician because it's consistent. It's just you can tell a person's style after a while, and it seems like he plays instruments as well as rap.
So let me ask y'all this: notable guests you've had over the years.
Okay.
For both house and hip hop and drum and bass.
I want to say a house because then they're gonna start arguing online about the house. I mean, about hip hop. Oh my god, no.
I'll say this: every time Chris comes to the station, I've missed him.
What?
Except for the one time he was at the old station.
Yeah, we had a couple years ago we had Chris.
Couldn't make it. I don't know.
That's how I blew that
But-
station
He did. It was crazy.
up.
But I'll say this. This is a good story. Remember I said Gangsta Fun and Skilla? It's Gangsta Fun. Gangsta Fun had this guy named Logan D, a really, really popular DJ from London, come DJ at a club. Probably was the Black Hole. And so he DJ'd at the Black Hole. He says, I can bring him to the station.
I think you gotta tell them about the Black Hole.
Oh my gosh. I used to DJ
I didn't know
there.
anything about it till you told me.
Yeah, I thought
Black
you
Hole
were
Rock
Black
Club.
Hole.
It's in Dundalk.
Okay.
But somehow or another, drum and bass DJs were playing there, and I ended up playing there a bunch of times. Jason Kepner got me a couple of gigs there. DJ Disillusion. So nonetheless, I'm there, and he's like, I can get this guy to come to the station. So he's like, okay, we'll do it. So we set it up, and Logan D. Imagine a white DJ from the UK. And someone telling him, yeah, we're going to go to a radio station. And he's probably thinking it's someone's house or whatever, some podcast. And he comes into Morgan State University, big room. And this is at the news station too. He's got the room set up. We got the speakers, and he's just like, I mean, his eyes were really big. I don't think he thought he was going to a real radio station. His set was great. And DJ Dre, I think that was the best hosting job he's ever done.
Well, there's a couple DJ Dres.
Okay,
Yeah.
Dre, not the one that I would say that does more. He used to do stuff in Choices. He used to be in Choices.
Okay.
That Dre. So I think that was one of the most interesting things where I've had like a guy from the UK come through, because he's like, I think he might have been the first one, but we've had some other DJs that were on. I mean, Charisma was blowing up the spot.
Or maybe an interview. Or something that just sticks out in your brain like over the years.
See, like we had 95 North.
Wow.
Richard
And
Wood,
nice.
keyboard, and Dark Play.
Okay.
Yeah, that was great. I had never seen that before.
We had Sam the Man Burns the year before he
Wow.
transitioned.
Wow.
I missed that one too. Sometimes I miss the best DJ.
You got a kid, man.
Probably my proudest moment is bringing Pope and OG back after what
I remember it. Yeah.
Yeah.
and the phones rung off the hook the whole 5 hours.
Wow.
And one of the people that called around 4:30 was a guy named Taha Ruby.
All right.
He called. By this time, he had moved back to Sudan, and he called us like 4. I think it was like in the afternoon in their time. But he called us at 4:30, and that was probably the only time I seen the phones lit up from pretty much 12:15 till the end of the show. And I couldn't even take all the calls because I was trying to be sure the show was good.
Where was this?
2012.
Tracy, they saying the phone not working.
Oh, well, it's on. See?
Hey, Lance,
I mean, there's
Oh,
still
let
some
me-
people we would love to.
the phone not working.
I think one of the things that I love
Did you
that
pay
I've
the
been
bill?
doing is
And Jordan played what?
Oh, really?
He's
So
10, 11.
I get 45 minutes and they get 5 hours. This is over. Thank you so much, y'all. See y'all later.
You can try to do it 4 times.
I'm joking.
No, I'm serious.
that's
Because I mean, sometimes I would, but I got clear Pat because Pat gets music. He's got.
But why are you scared of Pat?
No.
First off, I want to make sure I say this.
Yeah.
There's a point where I know there's a ton of people, ton of talented people, independent artists,
Yes.
artists that were popular back in the day that all of a sudden now they've got gray hair
Yeah.
and they can still put on music, and they're putting on music.
Yes, they are.
And Mike from across the street, he wants to give me a song. I'm like, well, this is all right. And then there's all the bad stuff we get at the station. Don't get it twisted. We get some music and it's just like, oh no, I'm never playing this.
Something.
So y'all do play demos.
We play demos, but everyone deserves a shot. If I can legitimately say that I understand what he was trying to do and I think he accomplished his goal when making the music,
That's great.
they deserve a shot. So then you try to do that. So you deal with all sorts of promoters that are promoting these people that are doing it. I remember this one guy promoted a guy. He's from the area. He's from like White Marsh. I'm like, White Marsh? He can actually just come to the station then. You know,
Yeah, right.
He just randomly got some promotion and got paid professional promotion. And then he came to the station. I did a thing with him. You know, we talked about this music. So I think that's something that we have to do. And it's always a very hard thing. I know Henry.
You hear that, Tracy? You hear that, right?
Because I'm just like, where did you get this song?
I'm always digging.
You know,
This, got my Sequels Girl spots. But, and, I do the track source as well. Bandcamp. I think Bandcamp is
Just one time.
And Shazam. And Shazam.
Yeah.
I Shazam all y'all stuff. Like, what is that?
I
What
just
is
said
that?
something that you playing before you got it, Grim.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I will put this out there that I would like to have that I don't think we've ever had yet. Either Spinning Charisma or You Expect.
Oh, that was
Together?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Petition and
Yeah.
petition. If you would love to see that, please put hearts inside of the
Mhm.
Facebook chat. Come
Yeah.
on, come on.
Spin is never home. And he's
Yeah.
like you got a kid. It's like,
Yeah.
no, that's late at night. That's like,
Yeah,
But, that's a dream. That's
Yeah.
a dream match, But maybe one day.
oh, you know what? I had a chance to play with Jeffrey too twice. Man.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it
that
ripped
was-
it. It
woo.
ripped it.
Yes.
up. It's like, it's a lot of people that can do that stuff. So what is the future of the station, guys?
To me, continuing to bring the music, continue to bring hosts. We want to keep the DJs that are still playing, still let them get their shine. And, one summer, I tried to do a thing where I tried to get house DJs under 30. And I think I did it two summers.
Yeah, we have our house music games. I think one of my favorite games was, oh, you play house music? We got a bunch of hip hop DJs that, hip hop DJs in Baltimore, they love house music. DJs in general love house music.
Yeah.
I would say people might not necessarily like house music, but the DJs do love it.
It's,
A lot of
it's
house
a
DJs
lot of
started in hip hop.
it's a lot of hip hop DJs. Did you know that Crazy Legs
Yeah.
plays house music? Redman plays house music.
I know Jazzy Jeff does. A lot of
Yeah.
DJs do. But
Yeah.
we got Titan. Titan came through. I was like, Titan, you want to do this? Like, yeah, I'd love to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we had
Boomy, Boomin. Yeah, we had a bunch of them.
Oh yeah. If they from Baltimore, it's in their blood. It's in their
Yeah, it's in
blood.
their blood.
They're from Baltimore, so
Yeah.
they like the music. They just don't get a chance to play it usually when they play, and then they have to play "Follow Me."
You gotta play. You get
Yeah. Yeah.
the team.
And shout out to Track Clear because he was one of the original Strictly. Man, we have him as resident.
Yeah, Groove actually.
Really?
Yeah, he plays every third Saturday. Groove actually plays house music too, and I know him from Strictly Hip Hop.
Wow.
Big Groove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, Strictly Hip Hop is off the chain.
They were really talented DJs. I remember that was that was the only time I remember seeing that there was a competition between 88.9 and 93.9
And they say,
in DC. And it wasn't like a competition. It was just like, did you hear what they played? Okay. And they'd be like, did you hear what they played at Strictly Hip Hop? So it was like a friendly rivalry where
Yeah.
people were just like, look what they doing.
wow.
And their show was like from 8 to 10, so it was a little different. I mean, you could get more hip hop from Strictly Hip Hop, but you could get some really good stuff from the DC station. So
Now we're getting it there. That's what I wanted. There we go.
I mean, but they just hate each other, but they don't really hate each other.
Yeah.
Like that.
You don't think so?
It's a friendly
It's a
game.
friendly. It's a
Friendly
friendly.
game of baseball.
Yeah.
I think as we gotten older, but I think probably we were younger, there was probably some people that really didn't like, for whatever reason, maybe they wanted their spot, so I don't like you for that reason, or maybe they think that we good.
Well, let me ask you a DJ. You're playing. Another DJ is standing behind you, and he is like just taking down your list record by record. Is it okay with you?
That's why they had the white labels, right? You used to put the tape on the
Or
top
they
of
were
your
train
record.
spotted,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, I've had DJs come up and take a snapshot of my computer screen.
I think if I know you, that I'll be cool with that. If I don't know you, I wouldn't say nothing. I probably would give a look.
Look, you need me there. I give him a strong elbow. Like,
I personally have no problem with it, unless there's a if there's a song that like I want to say it's like here's a good example. Richard Van Cress or whatever. It's Time Again.
Okay.
That song.
Yeah.
I always play it, but I heard Henry play it once. I'm like, I can't remember.
That's because I heard you play it.
And I'm thinking, that's cool. If it's a song that you like and you say he's going to play it, I'm okay if someone says, I heard Henry play it. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. He got it for me, but I'm happy that he's playing it. This is a good song.
Right. There's so many songs I heard because of either OG played it,
Exactly.
or I heard Spin play it, or I heard Jeffrey play it, or maybe Louis Vega or Joe, or his, how she had it. Right.
And it doesn't even matter how old the song is.
Not to me.
Close to Mind, they had a song. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think.
You talking about the one that sampled the Carrie Lucas?
How's the Carrie Lucas go?
You talking about Dance for Me Salute from Terry Lucas from the Discord?
Yeah.
Because I'm not feeling it. It's got the violins in it.
That's because
Yeah.
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 And I heard it. I'm like, I'm playing this song. I don't care what it is.
And there's 100 versions out there, Pat, of people taking that song.
But it was also Lonnie's version that I heard. And I just added it. I'm like, okay, this is going to be in my arsenal now. So yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
But
it is.
you don't want to have someone biting your style. But if someone picks, I think it's kind of like the way that K.W. Griff would, when he first started mixing, because
yeah, when he was calling the radio station.
What is that song?
I still got to get him.
I bet you.
He got
But
kids too.
he got
Yeah,
kids.
he got kids and a whole job.
Yeah, that's the thing though. When you find someone who takes a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then they're just like, okay, they develop their own stuff. That's great.
Yeah.
And if a DJ likes it and they're going to play it, and you like the song, fine. But I don't think it's cool to take someone's style,
Like that whole stack. Mm-hmm.
unless they're learning from you.
And
Well, it's funny for me what y'all saying, like, no, we are real still friends. I don't see all DJs as like villain. I love my fellow DJs. They kind of critical on each other. They just
I see that.
I noticed here that once I started partying in Jersey, New York, like their crowd is a little older because they went to the garage in better days, Zanzibar. So their mindset when they hear records from the DJs, like we'll talk about how we bring in records, how blends are here. They don't talk about that. To them, it's more like selection and programming.
yeah. That's where they come from.
And what rare thing here, if something is off, like a blend is off or something, we'll talk about that.
you're like,
Shoes in the
sneakers in the
dryer.
dryer,
Shoes
sneakers
in the dryer.
You're like, what?
Again, to what you said though, I think there's a good point of it. We are at 88.9, the voice of the community.
Okay.
We're a friendly place. You want to come through, come through. Do what you want to do. We don't stop you from, if you want to play a crazy song, play a crazy song. And like, I would never come to Ike Lee and be like, I need you to play on, oh geez, I'm going to hate on.
Don't say follow me.
No, I'm not going to say that. I love Charles Dixon's production.
Okay. What? Sister Sledge? I mean,
Charles,
But,
not Charles Dixon.
we can do
Charles,
it.
Charles Dawkins.
We can do it.
But I can't see Ike Lee playing Charles Dawkins music.
Why not?
Ike Lee plays hard. Is it Ike Lee?
You know, it's me. And also, I work with Charles. Some of the hardest records, Charles is the one that did the music.
Yeah.
It depends who he's working with.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
But I definitely know that
But when it's on his label, it's pure Charles.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And there's no way I'm going to be like, I need you to soften it up or whatever. Like, no, he's going to like, if I know who he is, do you. And he's going to do what he does. So anytime someone comes to the radio station, I'm not the program director saying, do this. The only way I program direct someone is I might tell, if someone's supposed to be playing hip hop, I did this with her name will come to me, Lady L. I said, Lady L, you're coming, we want you to play hip hop. you need to play some female artists that are hip hop artists.
Yeah.
Because everyone's going to play, that can get swallowed up. So
Yeah.
I will lead them in that direction on that layer, on that level.
Mhm.
But I'll be like, do what you want to do. But get like 3 artists in there, that's
Put
good.
some raw digger in there.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't make sense for a female just to play all guys. That's the only thing I'll do. But I think that's the most important thing. When you're as far as DJs, people want to come to our station, they want to get on. Can we get on? I'm like, I don't care. Give me a DJ. Give me like a CD or something.
Yeah, I think to sum it up, I think one of the things I learned from just being around Pope and OG, they would always say about kind of like the culture or the DJing rules is, learn the rules. Then after that, you can play what you want.
I have a real quick note. Again, you're listening to Thommy Davis Show on Power 410. Download the app, download that app. We sound so much better in stereo. We have 4 minutes left. Are you guys okay with doing overtime? Because this is,
No, we're okay with doing overtime.
Okay, what about you, Tommy? You good with doing overtime?
Yeah.
Okay, cause
I ain't got nothing to do.
Cause it's almost 9 o'clock. I'm just,
You made it that 9 o'clock rule. I was like, until Lance put us out. Lance is his station.
Yeah, okay. So, you kind of like, oh, I'm sleepy.
Well,
Shout out to
Wait a minute, so I don't want to go down the head. I need to know
I'm
some other
joking.
stuff about y'all. Has y'all ever missed a show where it was dead air? It's just y'all, you couldn't get there. It was a blizzard, and y'all couldn't get into the station.
No, there's ways to pre-program the show so there's no blizzard. But we've had some rough shows where it's like, okay, things are going the way we want it to go, but
Technical stuff.
Nobody ever hit the fire alarm during the show.
the only time here's a good example. One time there was an area-wide power outage.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So Trey and I was we're in the station. We're just like, we can't do anything. I think we could have played online, but nothing's going on. And we were just like, okay, we're here just in case power comes back on, and power came back on.
Mhm.
So it's just like, well, we try to do something, but
And normally, once we can't figure it out, we call the operations manager, and this is out. I remember one time, I think it was one show, I think Gospel Grace Follows Us. And I think one time the show didn't come up, and Pat noticed it. And Pat
It was dead. It was dead air.
It was dead. And Pat called the operation manager. Pat's an IT guru, and Pat can't figure out something's wrong.
Mm.
So even though the operation manager was mad, he came in and he figured it out.
Oh, okay.
yeah, we have dedicated staff. And they're great staff.
Yeah.
At 80.9.
So do y'all ever done mobile stuff like for the stage? You took the show and you did it somewhere else.
Yeah,
Yes.
they collecting runs.
I want to hear them say it, Tracy.
That's all.
Yeah.
Script that. Sorry, y'all.
This
I
is
think we did something in Canton.
Yeah, we've done a couple of things. With
Yeah.
Willie, I don't know how he got it. We used to do this thing at a place called Kobe. So from like 2 to like 4 or whatever, it was a restaurant. So we'd be there live mixing,
Mhm.
and the show would be broadcasted from there. It was really cool. I don't know, and they had an ISDN line there, so
Wow.
because you need ISDN to broadcast live.
In Conrads.
Yeah.
So we would do that every third Saturday, and it was great. It was great to do that, and then
Wow.
try to do some other stuff with it. But we did that for a couple of years.
Wow.
I never pushed in after the furniture stuff.
Yeah, I think that's about it, though.
Do you take requests?
Yes, we do take requests. But
Okay.
the requests need to make sense too.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that's a big thing, don't bother the DJ,
When you're playing out,
Yeah.
but when at the station, yeah, like Pat said, if it's something that's goes into where we at.
Yeah.
So at one time when y'all used to take calls, did y'all put them on the air?
We still put them on the air.
Then anything bad ever happened when you put somebody out there and they just said,
You have that dumb
you
button?
know what?
No, we've never had that. I don't think I've ever had that. But I'll be honest though, we do get the people that's like, oh, I'm running out. Like, yeah, what's your name? Oh no. I don't know your name. I can't understand that. I don't thinking I can't put that person on air.
Yeah, you're like, you're a tad bit inebriated, just a tad bit.
Yeah, and we just
So y'all screen them before you go on.
yeah.
Okay.
And we have our regular callers, Will Hug calls. We got love for Will. Because I'm like, if Will needs to get on air and say something, he can say something because we know he's responsible.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, people call up all the time.
Okay. Favorite house. Pick one song. Your favorite house song. I think you would put it. It don't make a difference what year. Don't make a difference, even if it's disco. To me, that's house is disco. I'm sorry. That's what it is.
Yes. Follow me.
Y'all gonna leave a live song.
Right.
Last week, I don't know why they're doing this, man. Right now, your fan song, they are playing it to death. So they don't know what they're talking about.
Okay, I'll answer that question. It's like not one song, but it's 3 songs that sound very familiar.
Okay.
And Todd Terry.
Which one?
RXT.
No, that's Yo-Yo.
Oh, Yo-Yo Trav. Yeah. Okay.
Todd Terry produced the Jungle Brothers, I'll House You.
Yeah.
Then he produced Party People.
Mhm.
Those sound, and there was another song that sounded similar.
Oh, okay. It's on the Royal House album too. The song we're talking about.
Rural House. Yeah, Rural House. That song, Party People, right? So
They don't know the story about that. That he had to yank that. So I was selling Party People crazy, and all of a sudden, it was actually Party People, but then it was Can You Party, and then it starts off totally different. It's a whole different thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think they had some sample disputes that went along with it. That's when it switched over to the better. You know what I mean? It got better.
And then wouldn't to the Batmobile on there as well?
Yeah.
Yes, there was. But you said that was 3.
Bango.
So there's one. That's one, Pat. You got 2 more.
So I think it's just those 2 songs.
Those 2 songs.
You said you want me to name?
Your favorite. That's your favorite.
I thought you wanted one song.
One. But
So-
that's one song.
That's pretty much one song. They sound very similar. So, Royal House and Party People and Jungle Brothers, I'll House You.
So you didn't mention Marshall Jefferson Move Your Body, which those are rip shows. Did you know that?
I didn't know.
Oh.
Yeah. Move your body.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
you feel
Yeah.
it?
For some reason, those 2 songs are the ones that I with though. But yeah. You want to ask? You can ask them those questions. I appreciate those questions. Think about it, so.
Henry,
See, my stuff is more
I don't care.
on the mellow side.
I don't. It's you. We need to know you.
Well,
And one other song before we go there.
Yes.
People Are Still Having Sex by Latour, the most freaky, most sleazy remix. I love that song.
I might not had a remix. You gotta let me hear that. Is it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube. Most by Latour, and it's most sleazy remix. That song is. I can't play it on the radio because it sounds like the woman's having sex in the background. So
You just said in hip hop, it's like it's a matter of balance. You know what?
Listen, but we still have our cutoff points, right? Like I'm joking.
Henry,
It's I can't narrow it down to 3, but I can narrow some of it.
one.
I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, all right.
You taking that?
Kalo, this artist out of Africa. Love his voice. Very distinguished voice. He had a song called The Soul Cafe. Carter Project, At Least We Can Dance.
Wait, I got right there. You give me them songs
I
later on.
don't think you were. I don't know if that's more your vibe.
Oh, that one.
I mean, then one song I do like a lot that probably would be is a song about Black Madonna. I think that was called All Right.
Oh yeah. All right.
It's
No,
it
not that.
uses
Oh,
the
that.
Not as they say.
it's used as a sample from the Lost Conquistadors El Chocolate.
See, Henry, you sound like German. See that?
It was used to that sample. I just like the way how he did
You
it.
have to find.
You need to write a book, bro. You really do, man. You
I might have to sit down with you and do a Baltimore Basics podcast with you and just talk about music. You know?
He is a walking encyclopedia.
I'm still learning.
That's because you never did drugs in your life.
You know, Mike Knight said the same thing. You remember too much. You don't know how deep. Shout out to Mike Knight.
But you know, that's some of the things that's I like to ask weirder questions. Weirder things that you don't hear.
I'm trying to think of other songs that have made me be like, okay,
Right. Like,
What about you? I mean, like that was two. You have.
It ain't three.
Oh,
No, I
I
said
said it
three.
two. Oh, my fault.
My bad was that.
the Dakota Project and the Black Madonna.
Well, what about you?
You know what? I got a Basin Boy trivia for everyone. It's funny. Shout out to Greg Pickett because I had the record when it first came out and I did not know. But anybody that I know you know. But what was the first Basin Boy release?
That's all it is.
All right. I did not know Teddy was the singer.
What?
That's 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of people might think Ultra might be the first Basin Boy release.
No.
But it was actually
that was Teddy.
that on Jump Street, right?
Yeah, Ultra was the first, and then Crystal followed writing a song for Ultra that we never gave to Ultra.
I've heard that
She's
story.
homeless.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people may not know that was y'all actually first release of Robin Hood.
Yeah. And then on that Welcome to the Clubhouse.
When did y'all decide to become a group?
When did I become an interview? I'm
See, that's what I'm used to be. I'm used to be when I was-
well,
See, this is what overtime is for.
yeah, but when we go
No
on their
time
show,
out,
they
no
give us
time
3
out.
minutes.
Did you have
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Favorite club you ever went to? Well, I know you said the Black Hole.
I did like going to the Black Hole, drum and bass there. I would say this though, to anyone who wants to, this is something I miss that I really liked about Be More Los and Be More House.
Mm-hmm.
They traveled.
Uh-huh.
They would be like, we went to this party in Jersey or this party here. If you ever want to hear some really great house music, and the best place I've ever been is at the Winter Music Conference.
Yes.
With a badge, you get into all the clubs. There's so much.
It's a lot.
You can go into a hotel lobby, and they have like a party, and there's just like, okay, there's banging it out,
What year?
any year.
No. Wait a minute.
Oh.
Hold on, but I'm going to say the tweet. I used to go there. I think the last time I went was 2013. So those years were good.
Good years.
Mhm.
Those were
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good. And you got those nice bags too, the DJ record bags. Oh my goodness, those were some
So
really
let me
good
ask you,
parties.
you like EDM? Patrick, do you like EDM? I
Mhm.
mean, you can carry a glow stick really well.
I like some of the artists. I mean, liking EDM is one of those things where I don't like each and every song, but there's a bunch of songs that I just like. I like Miss Jane.
Mhm.
What Miss Jane? Right. Nice Day. Da 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 dee da dee da 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 da. It's going to be a fine day today. It's going to be a fine day tonight. It's going to be a fine day tomorrow.
Let me find out you can sing.
Miss Jane, I love that song. And so
Yeah.
Drake
We
Bank put me on
recording
that
this. We're gonna
song.
put this record out.
Oh,
Are we recording?
It's already recorded.
Okay.
Patrick Scientific, it's gonna be a good
Yeah,
thing.
Miss
As long as I can do the Spanish back in the background, I'm good.
David Guetta, The World Is Mine. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
that song.
Okay, all right. So you do like EDM?
I do like it. I mean, let's just say this.
Mm.
Some stuff I like, some stuff I don't like. We've got a DJ, Confetti the First. I like a lot of her music. And she does a lot of EDM, some dance tracks. But,
So it's like any other genre. You don't like everything. You just like some of it. Like any
I
genre.
think, I think there's like, I'd probably say I'm like 60% of EDM. Drum and bass, I'd probably like 90% of it. There might be some stuff I don't like. But hip hop, I mean, and I think it's based on before it was. I almost want to say there's a point where there's a disposability of it, and this is something that I always say. Back in the days, it cost you a lot of money to get studio time to make a record.
That's true.
You couldn't mess around.
You couldn't.
Nowadays, a cheesy computer or a phone app, and you can make a beat. The worst thing is, you don't even have to think about whether you can rhyme or not. And I remember this happened on Strictly Hip Hop. Someone played a song, someone put their song in something called a test bed. And they'd be like, what do y'all think of it? And the guys were just like, it didn't win, but the guy was just like, no, I made the beat in 5 minutes. And the guy said, I made the rap in 3 minutes. I'm like, well, that's why it sucks.
Yeah.
You know,
That's why you didn't win. Right.
Yeah.
you know, I'm thinking,
Well, I mean, there's records that's been like that where #1 records, somebody did like that.
yeah, I have a good example for that too. But if you don't put the time and effort to really make something, it can go really bad. It can go really good. A great example of that is on the Wu-Tang Clan. Their first single, the first song was called "Protect Your Neck." That was a great
That was
song.
a great song.
All of them could rhyme, and the Jizza kicked it off at the end. But then the song that really people like was Method Man. That seems like a mistake song.
Yeah.
And
It was a little lackluster.
before them, there was a group called Untouchable Force Organization, UTFO.
Oh yeah.
They had a song called Hanging Out. Red Alert was just like, no, this ain't the song. The song is Roxanne, Roxanne. We're going to play that.
I remember that.
And that was the song.
Yeah.
There was nothing very intense about the song. It seems like they just had a song. That was the song to go on the B-side.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the B-side is the song that people like. So sometimes a B-side song can be good. And then sometimes a B-side song can be like, okay, that's the reason that's a B-side song.
All right. So quick story about Wu-Tang, right? And the Method
Tracy.
Man. No, and the Method Man song, right? A lot of people don't know that they kind of premiered the song at the Paradox. That's when they had the little cage on the side when the Paradox first opened.
I remember.
And the guy that had on the white suit with the top hat.
Tony King.
Yeah, so he was doing something in the cage and then he pointed to the stage. And then you heard METHOD, man. And everybody's like, and Paradox was like, the heck is this song? So
And
they
I
kind of booed him.
And I think before that, they were at Strictly Hip Hop
Yeah.
being interviewed.
Yeah.
Because
So, they got
there's a line on there that says they throw in Morgan State.
Yeah, they do throw Morgan State on one of the
Yeah, Protect Your Neck.
Strictly
When
Hip
they
Hop,
did
Morgan
when they did Protect Your Neck, that's when they got the crowd back. And that's the one where they shout out Morgan State. But when they did Method Man first, that was the first song. Oh yeah, they would have, man, if they had tomatoes, they would have thrown at him. But I'm sorry.
Oh, check this out. One other thing.
Sorry.
What's her name?
I took Benadryl before I got
Baby Sam. Baby Sam heard that song, and they were doing all sorts. And she got to the end of it. They like Morgan State. She's like, oh, Morgan State. Wu-Tang likes Morgan State. I think I want to go to that school.
Mm-hmm.
And she just got on Strictly Hip Hop. She's doing incredible things that you just can't. But I remember her telling me that, yeah.
Well, let me ask y'all this. So have y'all had interns come back and say, thank you so much for giving me an internship on the show, and they graduate and they go
Some
somewhere
have,
else?
some did. Miss Ja, she's doing her thing in
Yeah.
Florida now.
Oh, right. She was with
She graduated from Morgan, 2017?
Yeah, then
And
she came back.
yeah, she had a couple interviews, internships. I think one was at PGC, and it didn't work out. And they shitted out with us for like 2 years, and then the opportunity, I believe, came up in Florida.
Yeah.
wow.
There was another one. that-
Baby Sam was one of the Strictly Hip Hop hosts. She
Yeah.
was, she's big in the industry. I know she was for a while.
She's still.
DJ Lil Mike was writing the box. DJ, if y'all didn't know.
Yeah.
Well, so y'all really have
Well,
influenced the community.
Monique, she took, I think she went to the journalism aspect of it, but she knows how to talk now. I mean, she can interview people well. I think somehow to break out of your shell, you got to be in a place where you can break out of your shell. And I think we helped her break her out of her shell.
And also, even though he's not a part of this WAA, but he went to Morgan, was Tank. I caught one of his podcasts. He's from Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
One of his podcasts, he said he went to Morgan. I was like, yeah.
Wow.
He must have blew up after.
Did both of y'all graduate from Morgan?
I didn't go to Tech.
I did. I got a degree in electrical engineering.
That's what's up.
1995. Can't believe I actually did that, but I did it, though.
I went to junior college.
Oh yeah. Where'd you go?
Catonsville. And they had a radio station. That was Mass Comm was what I was studying.
Okay.
So they had a radio station there, small. You know, you can only get it like, it was very weak signal. You can barely get it on campus, but you had the cafeteria and the rec room, and everybody was trying to get 11 a.m. to 1 because that's when they knew everybody was eating lunch.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, and I was there. I was there even when I wasn't in school. When I wasn't even there in the semesters, I went there because I really love radio.
That sounds like the signal strength of College Park. They barely went past campus, though.
Yeah. Shout out to the Soul Patrollers.
So any people you want to personally thank that we're talking about you guys, but along the way, there had to be some people that was real influential to help y'all.
Cool
through this thing.
DJ Willie. He was open to the point where anyone could get on his show. And I'm like, I'm going to take that. The Pope and OG, because they're the first people that actually had played one of my mixes. Because that's something I've taken to the Audio Infusion. It used to be, I think, OG, Hope, guest DJ, and then maybe OG again. Mm-hmm. And I was like, guest DJs. I submitted a cassette tape. I just said, well, I wanted him to hear it. And all of a sudden, I'm listening to the radio. I'm like, I played this song on a mix. Then all of a sudden, I'm like, I played this next song too. And it's like DJ Patrick Scientific. I'm like, oh, snap. And I was coming to the radio station. I said, thank you. I didn't know you played it. So I think that's important. And my personal, I want to say, personal.
Like a mentor?
No, not personal, like evolution or drive to become a DJ.
Okay.
John and Martin was probably the biggest one. Because I sent him a CD and he was like, yep, this is greatly programmed. You did everything great on it. And I'm thinking, okay, I can do this.
So I'm going to read this from your page. I'm going to read this from
one
your
other
page.
person too.
Really?
Salt regulator, DJ CeeLo.
What?
I used to mail.
Yeah.
I gave him a CD. I gave him a cassette. Because I knew him from promoting with LaTanya. So LaTanya St. Clair too, especially. It's been one of the main reasons I think I'm with the connections to get the music and just being in the industry. So I gave him a cassette. So then 2 weeks later, he sent me a text back saying, this cassette is hot. And then he'd be like, can you get me another mix? And I'm like, okay, I'll get you another mix. I'd have to mail him CDs to Atlanta.
What?
Yeah.
So on your page,
RIP to Super Folk Record.
Yeah, really.
He has a house song called Toast to the Weekend. It's really, really cool. It's about Friday, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
This is on your bio. At a friend's house, Patrick got on a friend's turntables and surprised him. What happened?
I think I had a clue on how to DJ, and I think it was just like, okay.
But you clearly, like, it was something that they didn't know you had a skill for.
Yeah. So you do it, and you're just like, okay. That's kind of like puts the bug in your ear, like, okay, I might want to do this. But I think the lucky thing is that I actually had a decent job when I graduated college. And since I was single, I had plenty of external money. I bought 2 turntables, and I still have those same turntables. The ones in that picture with the quantized jacket.
Yeah.
Those are the same turntables. So I graduated in 95, so maybe GD6.
Wow.
So yeah, so those turntables are basics.
They not on belt drives or nothing. Pat.
No, Technic 1200. I had to put them on layaway too.
They was expensive back then.
$500 was different back then.
Yeah.
So I got my turntables, and I think I tried to do it. My boy Tonio kind of sold me some stuff. DMC, I used to watch those DMC battles.
Yeah, I did too.
They're crazy.
What would you tell a DJ that's trying to get out there to do?
Invest in yourself.
Right.
And here's the thing you got to do. The best way that you see people get on, it's a twofold thing. First of all, recognize You might live in one city, but you might like the style in another city, and you can mix in that other city. Or you can do stuff in that other city. You know, like I would never think that a kid from Baltimore City, from White Lock Street, likes Italian house music to the point where I really, really like it.
Yeah.
But you don't know that though. So be open to expanding your horizon and listening to all sorts of stuff. And you have to invest in yourself. And one of the best ways to do that is to either go to a conference, because you meet so many people that are like-minded. Another thing, go to college. I mean, there's so many, if you're young and you're like, like 17, 18 or whatever, and you just want to be a DJ, go to college. Little Mike went to college. I went to college, and you went to college. It's not, you don't have to do it, but it's a great place to meet like-minded people, possibly of the same age.
And get out of the hood.
And to a certain extent, get out of the hood. Yeah. I mean, one of my best friends in life, it's guy Eric. Eric lives in Boston, but he knows hip hop though. And we would talk about hip hop, and I'm thinking, okay, we're on that same level. So you can meet a lot of people on the same level if you do that. So you've got to meet people, and college is a great place to do it. And if you go to school and pass your courses, you can actually get a degree.
Yeah.
You know, it might want to be, it's something that I heard in my son's graduation. This girl said, I'm a singer. I want to sing at the Met. But when she told that to her husband was just like, oh boy, you broke though. Oh. You need a job. So she said that was one of the few arguments that she ever lost to him, because she was broke, but they were broke. So they became real estate agents. She said he dragged her kick and screaming to the real estate agent thing, and all of a sudden they have a great business doing that. Yeah. But then she's still singing. She's trying to do other stuff, but her 9 to 5 is allowing her to do that other stuff. So it's weird, because sometimes you can be like, there's plenty of DJs who has a 9 to 5 job, and it's just like, okay, they have 9 to 5 jobs, but you know, they do DJ on the side, and it allows them to DJ. And the other thing is, I want to say that they still, like, people have kids and wives and all this other stuff, but that's not going to stop them from DJing. So my wife married a DJ, and I'm going to always be a DJ. Or someone who's into music like that.
Are you suggesting that if you want to be a DJ, don't get married?
No, I'm not saying.
Well, but Henry, any advice you would give a DJ? Like,
let me finish one thing.
All right.
The last thing you need to do is invest in yourself. And I said go to conferences. Yeah. And that's the best way to meet other DJs and meet other people. If you only hang around the same people, that's not good. Go to a conference, get your business cards ready, hand them out to a gazillion people. I mean, that's the only way I'm getting music from Armor Records, because I handed someone a thing. I took a picture with them, put it on Facebook. We've been keeping in contact, you know. And the other thing about this is that everything is a business. So the DJ business, the music business, health business, there's a business aspect to everything. Make sure your business is on point, because we've all heard the horror stories of people that don't have their business on point, losing money, getting sued, you know, I mean, they'll take advantage of you. I mean, there's no way that TLC can sell 10 million records and be broke. Look at Boys to Men. Not Boys to Men.
A whole bunch of
Boys to Men, perhaps too. Yeah. But before them, there was New Edition.
New Edition.
That's the group. They were just like, they signed to a production deal, and all of a sudden, they're going out there making millions of dollars on tour, and they go back to the projects. How does that happen?
Yeah, that's true.
And I had something with Terry T was talking about that. Like, they was robbing them.
We all got I could tell you horror stories for days.
He was just like,
wait a minute. I want you to encourage people.
No. Yeah, encouragement is understand the business. You can do it. Understand the business. Make sure you get that, because there are people that are out there trying to get you. They will if they can. You know,
that's not encouraging.
Because they don't have a Tracy. Get yourself a Tracy. I'll beat people up for you.
Get yourself a Tracy. But it's a great thing to do. But make sure you do it right. You know, and that's with anything in life. You know, if you don't understand the business,
study,
Study.
research,
Study.
ask
where
the question.
kind of leads to what he was calling.
Lifelong learner.
Henry,
Learn the craft. You know, I remember when I was coming up, you couldn't really ask anyone, you know, how do you do this and how do you bring this in and what about programming and everything. Now today, it's a lot easier. Now you go on YouTube and you can learn.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely would say learn the craft. There's someone more experienced or someone you look up to. If you want to get pointers, don't be afraid to ask. Maybe they will help you.
Yeah.
Learn the history or whatever it is you do, what's past leading up to the present. Try to keep yourself active. Like there's a lot of ways now that you can broadcast yourself now on the internet. You know?
That's true.
You know, don't be afraid to fail because that's how we all get better. It's failing. You know, train wrecks, bad blends, songs that don't make sense. You bring one in. At the time, it might feel good, and then you play it back later.
Yeah.
Like for my shows, I play back all my shows because I critique myself so I can try to get better. You know, that's one of my big things is critique yourself, play your own mixes back.
You're your own worst critic.
Right.
Actually, there's a psychological. You have to. I tell a lot of them, I said you gotta get a thicker skin because not everybody gonna love you. So when they tell you, man, you saw it, you need to realize that's just that one person opinion. Right. So what? Say what? Okay, fine.
That big skin is good.
So if I throw tomatoes at you, then what?
Then I need to get some lettuce and some onions and get.
I think you're gonna say I duck first.
I think everyone's had like tomatoes going at them, and sometimes you know they're well deserved, but sometimes it's just like it ain't that bad. And that's why when I'm listening to a demo tape or something, do I think they accomplished the goal they were trying to accomplish when making the song?
Yeah,
I have to think about that.
Yeah,
and if I think
people expect too much. They expect to sound like that's something they heard on the radio. Say, how you going to do that? And you just started.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You should. You know, it's great to have someone to aspire to. You know, so instead of beating yourself up, realize that you can aspire to it. And I mean, a lot of people just send me the tapes, and they said, well, it's not ready. I said, I didn't expect it to be ready. I would listen to you, what you doing it. I knew how we can make it ready. Mm-hmm. Let me hear you. And then I can figure out.
But you know what? I'm sorry. That was the great thing about when you guys were doing Talent Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because they got like unfiltered, even though sometimes the unfiltered wasn't like the best. But yeah, because more than likely you probably hurt somebody's feelings. But at least they get unfiltered critiques. And then that did nothing but make people work on it and then come back. Because y'all had a lot of people come back, you know, took the corner.
It was good.
And, you know, But I'm sorry, go ahead. No, Henry was about to say something.
Going back to what you were saying about thick skin, I know we've all played gigs where we didn't get the reaction that we wanted. That's hard. Just try to learn from it. You know, if you want to ask somebody, ask, or go through your head. Maybe some things might have sounded good at the time. You just didn't get the reaction you wanted.
Yeah.
Just learn from it.
Exactly.
Move on to
don't holler, I quit, don't go home, I quit, I don't want to do this ever again.
It's hard. It's hard.
You know,
believe me, we've all been through it.
Those horrible gigs make you a better DJ than the next gig. If the next gig you get, you're going to try harder. It's like, you know.
Yeah, seeing the mistakes you made.
Yeah.
Make them again.
Right. Some of the things you said, you know, Basement Boys, and we did seminars. We went to seminars and just, you talking to people, if you talk to your people in Baltimore, you like Jesus in Bethlehem, like you're not nowhere, you're a carpenter. But if you go somewhere else, they don't know that you're a carpenter. They listen to you for what you gave them. And you're standing right next to them and you're talking to them. And so, you know, sometimes you got to get out of Bethlehem, so to speak.
That was argument. She said, when I make it in Baltimore, get out of Baltimore.
Exactly.
There's something I'm going off topic. Because there's something I wanted to say early in the show. I wanted people to know about Thommy, because I didn't know this. So for a short period of time, I was doing interviews on Hands On Radio. And I had some people lined up. So I got a chance to email Byron Staley, right? So because in the industry, people don't know who I am, one of the things I would do is I'll do a pre-interview just so you know, I'm not going to talk about drama or some stuff that's really off. So I would do my research and everything. So I'm talking to Byron, and we going through his history, and I'm asking him questions. And then we get to this one point when he told me that when he was a teenager, he worked at this record store in Chicago called Imports. I think Chippy talked about his interview. He had worked there, I guess, before Byron, because he didn't mention him in the interview. So he said, you know, I would bring some of the Chicago house records to Thommy Davis, and in return, he would make me mixtapes to let people know what the scene was going on in Baltimore. The reason why I bring that up is because I saw it's on YouTube now, the last day in the Paradise Garage, and he had a bunch of guests there, and I think Master C and J, who was from Chicago, was one of the performers, and they shouted out Baltimore, and this was like '87, and when I listened to Byron, because I paused when he said that, I was like, it felt like Baltimore was one of the first cities outside of Chicago that gravitated toward the scene, but you just didn't know how did it start.
I'm not going to. It's just that people are going to argue about it. But yes, me and Byron and some other people. It just was. Are you giving us that look, y'all?
He's like, that's what I said. It's okay.
People know he is the reason Chicago House came.
I was still on the phone, and I would call Byron and some other people in New York and overseas and say, hey, we need this record. And they would send me these records, and I would say, give me 50 of them. And they say, how are you in Baltimore? At one time, Baltimore was considered a country little town. It's like, you can't be selling this many records in Baltimore. I say, yes, Yes, I do. Give me 2 boxes. And they say, what? He said, we got people in New York that don't buy 2 boxes. I said, yeah, but I know what they like. And I said, you know what, send me 2. And so therefore I built a connection so I could talk to, so Byron would say, instead of him saying, you know, putting these records, we only got 300 of them. He would make sure, because if I called him up afterwards and said, hey, Byron, why you didn't give me this record? He says, no, I put 2 boxes away. I knew already. I knew you were going to ask for it. And so Baltimore was on it from day one. From on and on, I was chasing down Jesse Saunders records. And then it's like, what? We started cheating.
They started cheating.
Well, like a JK, I'm well, yeah. Well,
so yeah, because Marshall Jefferson said in his interview that the song was already done 8 months before it was released. Would you say we was one of the first cities that jumped on it once it came out?
Which one?
Rock Your Body.
I had the test press in.
Well, because he said that he released in '84, and it came out I think '85, right?
I was
I think '86. Right?
So I called Larry at Trax and said, "Hey,
Sherman, right?
Sherman, right? And he was like, "What?" And he said, "What do you want?" So give me 60. I said, "You want for Baltimore? Where is that at?" That's back then. I used to say, "Where is Baltimore?" I said, "It's outside of DC."
See, this is the history. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're getting some history now.
That's because we got more than 3 minutes.
Yeah. I am not going. Listen, that was Thommy Davis. That was not the Shade Queen, Tracy Stevens.
It's all
let's
The next time we had to talk with the station pastor, give him 2.5 minutes.
That's a hard thing to do at the radio station.
It really is.
Cut people off. You just and Dre sees me roll my finger around. I'm like, you gotta cut it off because he's got a good point. I'm like, no, you got 10 seconds. Wrap it up.
That's me.
Y'all got to pay bills. You got sponsors. You have to do
a whole bunch of stuff. So I mean, it's just like this format is great because we went overtime, no problem.
Yeah.
Alpha Grace not going to allow that.
No.
John's going to be like, Patrick, what you doing?
No,
you
can't do it. Right.
Yeah.
And eventually that's going to happen here because we're getting sponsors and, we have to do all the kind
of we have to cut to commercials.
And stuff like that.
Which is a good thing.
Concise, this give us a chance to actually master our skills. Like some of the things that people take for granted, do. It's not, we learning it. Like, how to control the narrative, how much, how many people can we put on the show? Do we need this? All the stuff we learn. And so in between us getting to there, we're using it to just say, hey, let's just have fun and learn some stuff.
Yeah. Sometimes the best interviews are just the ones that's just free,
Have you ever been interviewed?
this might be the first time we've ever.
Yeah,
This is the first
We're breaking records. We're making this to the point. That's a great thing. You guys are great.
These are flowers, man. I mean, y'all
Yeah.
should be. Y'all should be, man. You're still on the job. You're still on the front line.
And in fact, probably forgot about this, but I think when Willie had the show, I asked him when did it start. He told me the second week in May 2000.
I didn't get that.
Perhaps he would know.
So
next
is
next
this-
week would actually be 25 years.
Happy anniversary!
So one other thing I wanted to go back to something. You said invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, Henry knows what I'm talking about, and another person knows what I'm talking about. You're only as good as your equipment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't
Amen.
figure out
Preach
how
to the
to.
choir.
Everyone's got a budget, and if you want to DJ and you want to do all this other stuff, you want to make mixes and all that. I think my mixing and my DJing skills didn't start off because I had bad equipment. You learn bad habits when you have bad equipment.
Uh-huh.
And I had like this Newmark mixer. It was a 202. Justin calls it the purple people eater. He hated that mixer. But he had one too. But, I was the first mixer. Then, of course, I got my Brain 56 TTI. Not the
How can I
57.
afford that? I mean, a new DJ, there was a point where you made a decision that said, I'm going to go buy a turntable. No, you believe that this is going to pay up. So some of these people ain't like that. It's like, I want to do that. And I know a lot of people got stuff in the basement. They thought they did. They bought all the bells and whistles and they wasn't sure.
I eventually decided to upgrade my mixer, and I got like that mixer was like $200, and then I got this $700 mixer. I still use it to this day.
Wow.
But yeah, and there's a DJ we know, and we always told him, you are so better than your equipment.
Oh, yeah.
We want to leave it at that, and was like, look, you're better than your equipment. Get some better equipment, and the DJ got better equipment in
Night and day.
night and day.
Wow. Okay. I had another question. Why didn't neither one of you ever thought about production? A record.
Why?
When you know so much about music, you're a built-in producer.
I had one session, me and Greg Pickett had one session with Taha,
Where's the record?
and we never finished it.
Wife and kids. And before I got married, it's funny because there's this. I have a keyboard. I have an Akai keyboard with a couple pads on it. And I bought a computer. I was like, I bought oh my gosh. It's the M Audio software that would be used. Studio One. I've got the software. I was like, I'm gonna learn how to produce music because I'm gonna buy this stuff before I said that. I thought to myself, there's a bunch of things I'm not going to be able to buy after I'm married if we're going to have kids. So I bought a mountain bike. Haven't ridden that thing once,
See.
but I paid the money for it. And I can take it and get it tuned up and be like, I'll have a mountain bike. I bought the production keyboard. I got the software. I got the Mac Mini to get all that stuff done. So I wanted to do it.
It's about a mountain.
It's no, I bought the mountain bike too. But, I was thinking about doing stuff. I actually had a song that I was trying to produce, but
Okay. All right. Let me
Like,
say
I
this.
do edits. Like, there's one edit I did off the track you and Greg did, but my Mac got bad. I mean, it wasn't just some edits I threw on top of what y'all
It's
did.
so much better than your equipment.
I want to finish it and then send it to you. Just
Yeah.
Well, I encourage y'all to do that because, one thing I've learned is that as a DJ, you understand music way better than, especially when you're doing dance music, because you understand the audience, the people on the dance floor.
Yeah.
So you, believe it or not, y'all have a innate perception of timing, and this is 8 bars, this is 16 bars, this is a break, this is where I need the people to raise a hand in the air, this, or whatever artist you aim at. So to me, but DJs make the best producers.
I agree.
They don't have to be solo. And this business is best, it's quantized to go down, make sure you lean on other people. You don't have to know all the answers. Hook with somebody that already know it.
so let me ask you this, because I know.
Charles Tompkins was a DJ.
Yeah, he still is.
So let me ask you this, because I know a lot of DJs that probably want to transition probably think the same thing. by you being a DJ, how were you able to channel the creativity from the DJ to production? Because I think of it, I'm like, I don't have ideas for edits, but ideas to something original.
All right, I'm ready to just sample. I don't know what's on this stack.
Because I'm sure I'm not the only person that thought
Lord
about it.
Finesse, I was gonna say, Lord Finesse always says that DJs make the best producers, and he's a DJ first.
Yeah.
It's
You unplugged it, yeah, because of the humming.
all right. Five drop tracks, one bass, one electric. Well, a DJ can. You already know this in there. You can hear it. You hear the little. You hear the piano. You hear the bass like hitting on a one. These things that is innate. And if we don't teach people how to say, you know what, this is how you choose a record, or this is how you mix it. You can't mix it if you don't understand what's going on.
Right.
So once you do that, you can produce it. So to answer your questions, when I'm playing, I'm producing. I'm actually producing on. That's why I like controllers and stuff like that, because I can produce live on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I can take what I know about a record and from record stores and any DJ can do it. Now, whether you want to go out and do it by yourself, that's up to you. You want to spend a lot of money and spend a lot of time watching YouTube, but it's better to say, hey, Tom, I want to do this record, I got this idea. And I'll say, what is it? He said, all right, you know what? I knew where to go do that. That's how we're going to do that. That's the best way to do it.
I might take that on. Now, I'm not saying take you up on it, but I might take that idea and be like, okay, let's find someone to do this idea.
Exactly.
But wait a minute, hold up. Side note, when y'all do produce music, I yodel very well. So I'm just saying, I'm always free. Okay.
It works. It
I
works.
think you got a great. I do think you got a great spoken word. So if you got any
Yeah.
poetry.
I never even thought about that, honestly.
But I think the one thing, another thing about if you want to DJ or whatever, don't be that asshole that people don't like. Be nice, be kind, because people. There's plenty of people that people don't like because they know it's just because they don't like them and they're not good people.
Ooh, that's a real big point.
Yeah, I mean,
And sometimes you
I've heard stories about
before
him.
people even hear you, or even if you're a DJ.
But here's my concept. It's just mine. It's that it's easier for somebody to hate you than to love you. You know what I mean? It's just easier for them to say, they don't just for some reason they rather not like you. They like, let me hear your song. They hoping it's not good because it makes them feel like I could do that and I'm not doing that. I don't want to see you do something that I always dreamed of doing.
True. Yeah, you gotta find some good people.
Make your haters your motivators.
But don't be that person that allows someone to hate you and they have a solid reason.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because if you give them a solid reason to hate you, yeah. Oh my gosh.
So when you do this record, watch, you're gonna come back and say, Tom, remember when you was in that radio station, the one that you shot Tracy in?
It's funny, you say that name, I think of Lynn Lockerbie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. She had a beautiful voice.
She still does.
Yeah.
Why'd you say had?
Oh, I haven't heard anything from her, like, in, the last 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I'm not saying that.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah, I'm not saying
it's a
that.
whole bunch of stuff too.
Yeah.
In this business, there's a whole bunch of variables.
Someone sampled her song in the club. Some Irish group did it. The Belfast it was an Irish group. They just took the song,
The music,
the song,
Her.
the music,
and her.
vocals, everything,
Wow.
and said that they wrote the song.
Oh, a Nilly Vanilli.
Milli Vanilli
that's
never
not
said
it.
that. No.
No.
Milli Vanilli, they never.
That story's different.
That's
Yeah,
a different
that's
story.
different.
But,
The
Okay.
producer,
I got it.
said
What, Patrick?
Oh, what you mean, a Kanye West? I'm just saying.
I think the song.
The comments from Tracy are not.
He took Dennis Ferrera's music and then said that was
Do
his
you
song.
know if he paid?
Well,
He might have paid Dennis. You don't know that. You don't know that.
Well, he paid him after he got
Oh, okay, you know what? Kanye,
crazy.
here's her address. 1, 2, 3, 4. 555 It's a phone number 555.
And then when I show up tomorrow in a pack of McDonald's chicken nuggets, then y'all know it was Kanye. Like I'm joking. I'm joking.
So what he was talking about, it happens all the time because they believe they're in another country, you're never gonna catch them. And they don't think this record's gonna go number one. Now the record go number one, they got another problem. It's plenty of songs.
If the girl you know was true, was that almost the same story?
No, it wasn't.
Took off in Germany.
No,
It was still New Marks, and they made a deal. You know,
yeah,
with it, and and then
it was given to somebody.
And they wasn't the vocals. They got somebody else to do the vocals. And this happens in this business all the time. They just really hyped on them boys because they had long hair, was kind of pretty. It's like, you know what? They ain't the only ones doing that. It was common practice.
You know what? The movie Girl You Know It's True.
Yeah.
It's on Peacock.
Yeah.
You can watch it on Peacock.
It's pretty. It has a lot of stuff in it.
Yeah.
But a movie has to water it down to make the story kind of, you don't get the ins and out. But, this happens. This is a regular thing. I mean, you know about Black Box and Martha Wash and, you got Sylvester in the back and the Weather Girls on other people's records on backgrounds before he was Sylvester. You got Luther Vandross is on so many people's records before he was Luther Vandross.
Yeah.
So, right.
Big shouts out to Jeffrey C and Big Groove. They both hit me up on my phone. They were just like, they like the chat and the conversation.
The same producer that was behind the Milli Vanilli was also behind a group in the 70s. The same guy. He had
from Start Point, right?
Who?
Was he from Start? The wrote the song was spinning them?
No,
he did the same thing.
He was the one behind the voices because he got another guy to sing it.
Oh, yeah.
But he was also a producer behind, I think it was Miles Boney.
No, Boney M.
Boney M.
Yeah.
He's the same producer. Well, one of the girls actually did sing. The other two wasn't. But they were huge for like a couple years overseas.
Huge. And that's in the movie. So our listeners out there, if y'all you want to see
have Peacock.
Just go to Peacock.
Yeah, it's on Peacock. And you can just type in "Girl You Know It's True." It actually landed on Peacock the beginning of last month.
Okay,
that's really great. There's a lot of Baltimore history in it, and that includes Spin, Mo,
Judy,
and Kevin Lowry.
Yeah. Kevin's the one that produced it,
right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. It was really interesting. I went to the premiere with them and stuff. It's just a movie takes away a lot because you can't tell the whole story. Like if somebody tried to tell my story, they probably get a little richer looking guy. that ain't me.
And that's why you do the podcast, right? Story.
It's like, hey, I wouldn't wear that.
Like, wait a minute.
So we're gonna wrap this out. I watched the owner of the station that I'm leaving because we they can tell we're enjoying something. We really enjoy y'all, and
thank you,
the listeners, and you're welcome to come back.
Yeah, we can do that.
And I'll come to 3 minutes on your show anytime.
One other thing I can say that I really thought about you actually said I should produce music, but I thought about this. This is something that I thought about as a DJ is like, how do I do something that lasts forever? Because music can last forever. Anyone can make a mix, but the mixes don't last forever.
Yeah.
But the stuff that you've done on the music you've made, that will last forever.
Yeah.
And I thought, we've got this great platform, 88.9. We've got this show.
Keep going.
I thought maybe I should get something where we add a video aspect to it. Then I was like, the green room sessions came up. And I thought that was something that would be great.
I did the green room. The pajama party and everything, right? Because
you and Confetti had on pajamas. You and Confetti and Free Agent had on pajamas. And I had to put a disclaimer on it, say, hey, he's in pajamas because we did a pajama party at the show. And
they did not understand that, Patrick. But you know what? I still did it. It's like,
yeah, but it was great though because I've gotten a lot of people to come through on that, and that was something great because it's reflective of the radio station. It's on YouTube, so it's going to be there forever, hopefully. Yeah. And it's something I'm very proud of the fact that I got you on there. I got this guy from the UK, Saxon. Somehow, a friend of mine she was like, he's in DC somewhere. And it's like, no, it's okay. We can just drive up. And I'm like, okay.
He did the pajama thing?
No, he just came. He did the green room session. But he's DJ Saxon. We did a recorded interview. Then I did a green room session with him too. So
Okay.
it was great to have you there, him, Speedy and Utopia, and we did a couple of interns. Devera, Mo, who's an intern that was happy that we said we kind of opened her up a little bit. She does journalism in Houston now.
Okay.
So Miss Jod did one, I think.
Hmm.
Did she do a green room session? I don't know.
I thought she did.
But you know what she did? She'd be like, at the end of the green room session, you hear her go, "Hey, thanks for watching. We have more. Click on the subscribe button below," or she'd do that like little ending thing. So I got some interns to do that. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Another person you got on was Carla Wills. Carla Wills was actually a producer of the Eric Michael Dyson show for a year at Morgan. But she was the one responsible for bringing me and Pat the mix on Friday mornings. We did for like 6 years.
That was,
Friday morning house.
Wow.
Yeah. Shout out to Carla Wills.
yeah.
I-
So
Look, this is how you do this. You listen. All right. Then people come in there, say, "Hey, I got this idea for a song." First of all, you got to find an idea for a song in your head. That's song you like. Just say, "I like this song," and you give them your number, and you just say, "Hey, I want to do it." And you say, "But you know what? And if we do this record right, I can play on the show whenever I want." That's all you need to do. That person was like, "Really? Really? Well, I got this in the SI-5000 and this one like this, and I can look into Pro Tools and Cubase and all this kind of stuff." And what you do, you go sit with him. And you just look at what he got, and you just like anything else like DJ, you just say, "Hey, I needed to do this," because your knowledge, he don't have. And his knowledge, you don't have. Bam. Work together.
I'll have to do that too. Because I have done a lot of green room sessions recently, but the green room session was something I thought that was great. I've gotten DJ Rosie. That was a fun one.
I'm talking about your career, because when you win a Grammy, I want you to say, "It was this little black guy in Baltimore."
No, I'll give that to everyone.
We say for this legend in Baltimore.
Yeah.
I say this to everybody. It's like either way, because people, once they get big enough, they do it, but they'll say, "Yeah, well, I did it on my own." Trust me.
Certain people will do that. That's in certain people's nature. I almost want to think that I could see Kanye West doing something like that.
He has done it, but anyway.
Really?
Saying that, I did it on my own, like no one's helped him out. And
That's impossible.
That doesn't make sense to me,
Maybe if you were Prince, that Prince could play every instrument, pretty much. But there ain't that many Princes out there.
There's not a lot of people that can be like,
I mean, there's more musicians that are inspired by him now.
Yeah.
Like her, she plays a lot of it.
Yeah.
bad.
She
a lot of people can play a lot of instruments. And that's like saying Flavor Flav can play a lot of instruments.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, piano.
Yeah.
He was
He's classically trained.
classically trained.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's always joking around. There's one video of him playing.
Play the piano. He's just like,
And he got serious, and then somebody tapped him on the shoulder, and he got back into his own bag. And he plays drums.
What? Why they stop him? They want to know what time it was?
no, I mean,
I would love to somebody do a story on him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't mean any harm. When he sang the national anthem, he actually really did sound good.
Favorite place in there?
Yeah. He's
More
actually
talented
did.
than people give him credit for.
Yeah.
But for some reason, he
They
likes
put him in a box.
Yeah.
to a certain extent, he put himself in a box. He put himself in the spots where it's like, how does everything else that Flavor Flav do get out of it without it looking very weird?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he was so extreme with the box he created. It's just like, but I don't. There's a point where you shouldn't put yourself. You can't really put yourself in a box, but
They
somehow
put you in it.
You make a box and no one will let you out of the box. That might be the better thing to say.
Yeah.
Look, Patrick, I wore wings one time,
Mm-hmm.
once, and that was supposed to be it. Now, every time I go somewhere, you don't wear the wings.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
I did it. I did it to me. You know what I'm saying? I did it to me. That's the same thing. Jimi Hendrix said the same thing. He didn't want to burn the guitar no more. It just happens. Because people kind of put you in it.
Because that's that pivotal moment.
Right.
That's all they can see.
So, a lot of people just say, oh, whatever. And you take what you can get, But the plenty of artists, Rick James with them, if you see talk honestly about it, the record label said, "Hey, we want you to keep doing this way."
Yeah.
The people chose.
You know, a fun fact about Rick James, he was actually signed to Motown in 1966.
I know, right?
He didn't come out to tour. I mean, he built other bands, played Canada, AWOL by the Army, and all that. Then in the 78 is when he drops his first album. Then everything this next 10 years.
Wow.
Gold and platinum, every album.
Like, well, let's wrap. I got one more question.
Okay.
Did y'all ever win a radio award show? You know, so think about awards like, hey, this is for the best college radio station or something like that.
And I'm okay with it. I'm not impressed about those awards.
Do you register your stuff?
We've been registered before because Sean and Divine registered us a couple of times, and we never. You know that you know what you do. You know what you do is good,
Yeah.
but you know what you're going to do is not going to win you an award, and it's okay.
If you talking like that, it won't.
No, I mean, I think we do fantastic stuff. Will it win an award? No, because I know the town I'm in, and I'm not doing I'm just not doing certain things, and I'm like, okay, I'm okay with it. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's just like it is what it is.
How far does EA broadcast to? So if I'm in Hagerstown, can I hear
radius.
Can I hear EA in
It's
Hagerstown?
50 miles. It's 50-mile radius each direction.
Each direction.
Yeah. It's all south, east, west. So you can get us into Delaware and into South Jersey before it starts phasing out.
It fades out when I go to DC every time.
You get to DC, probably once you get to New York Avenue, but then as you get further,
It's another station that has the 88.9 in
Yeah,
DC. It
and I
starts
think-
switching over. It's kind of like Hispanic.
Hispanic, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I was scary say that's when the language changed.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, this don't
I'm
sound like
like,
Henry the man.
Yeah, we're Patrick and I'm feeling.
because we go, cause I go clear to the Bay Bridge and still get
I
that.
still get it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I mean, Pat, y'all doing phenomenal things. If you love general apply,
I put it to you like this. It would be really frustrating for me to do all this stuff to try to get an award and never get the award. Then I'd be like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Am I doing something to get an award? Or am I doing something for the love of it? And that's where I'm just like, if I get an award, fine. Do I deserve an award?
As
Perhaps.
someone that's in the industry like yourself,
hey, I fight battles.
I mean, has there been other shows that has been on what we're doing that has fun? Because no, there's no show like the other one.
Are they this color?
Wait a minute. You're talking about
But
racial
that's why you
barriers?
need to fight for it. That's why you need to fight for it.
You can fight for it, but there's a point where hip hop awards are a great example of like, how did this group get this hip hop award? You're just like, they don't even sound good.
They
But I
sell
guess it's what
records.
they sell records. The younger
Yeah.
people are liking them. You know,
Uh-huh.
the lyric. You know,
Or you think it's just not it's not worthy. You don't even want that because you think you put busted people that win awards, so it's less than.
Like, don't sell out, right?
I'm not gonna sell out to make there's a formula to win an award, and that formula just definitely is not conducive with congruent with what we're doing. So it's just like, okay, you know,
What's your name on Thursdays?
Sean, like that on 88.9.
You talk about Shinye.
Yeah. They
Dramatic pause. Dramatic pause.
was on our show, then she went to that show, I think.
She not yet, but she knows.
Yeah,
the
I'm-
Baltimore scene is the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's pretty much doing what you're doing, just as with artists,
yeah.
DJs, or MCs, those that's been in the background, that people don't know about, that's really pushing things. But she runs the award show every year. I'll introduce you to her. So yeah, her daughter actually is a DJ. Love it.
Well,
Her name
it's
is Lovey.
it's like what
Okay.
people say to me constantly. You deserve the flowers, dude. You deserve some flowers.
Yeah.
You know, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the fact that I made the green room sessions, and because of you now, I guess I gotta make a song But I'm gonna make that
Wait a
song.
minute, spotlighting Tracy Stevens at the yodeler.
I've had like a couple of songs.
You really want to be a yodeler. You really do. Yodel, please, right now. Get it out of your system. Come on.
Running joke. Running
Tracy.
joke. You know, Muppet Show. Well, that's a long time ago. You know, when they were goggling Gershwin and yodeling and stuff. Yeah, Muppet Show. I'm a big fan. But anyway.
So hit it. Like I tell anybody, say, I can sing this thing.
Oh, I can
Get the
yodel.
yodel.
Everyone can
I did that.
You know, I do that anyway. Somebody come up to me and said they sing. I said, sing right now. And they said, right here? I was like, no, I want you to sing in a closet. And don't take your closet on tour. No, sing right here.
Yeah, I think Eminem did a record talking about that, right?
Yeah, we got the Johnson's Crew, Space Cowboy.
Oh, yeah.
Just because you did the yodels, I can try to get that on.
Yeah. They did yodel on that, honestly.
It's coming out on Quartet.
Yeah. I mean, no, I think that's a Mike Freak thing. Cute.
Yodel, side yodel. If you're hit right there, it's gonna be it.
I guess this might be true to a certain extent.
What?
Mike Freak was DJing on our show before and putting on tracks on our show, and somehow he getting to you, and he says, "Yeah, Patrick was and me, the Audio Infusion were like big time in helping me get my music on air to the point before it got to you guys."
Really?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's good.
Wow. You know what? I think he said that when I first met. He said because I was coming in and he was already in there. I think it was with you.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
he's always made good music, and I think that's something else we're proud of. You know, we're cute. I mean, I don't need any money, Mike Freak, but the fact that you mentioned the Audio Infusion.
What'd you
That
say?
was great.
Give it to Tommy? Mike? Oh, Mike, he said, give it to me.
Give it to me. That's going to be an unqualified record.
But I remember, you're right. I walked in and he said, yeah, I know all your music is like this. And I'm Mike Freak. This is before he was. It was like, okay.
Yeah. He can make some really good music.
Yeah.
He did some stuff for our group, Alternative Seduction or something like that. And the girl, I met her. I mean, we would always catch up with her. I would always catch up with her at the Winter Music Conference. So
In Miami.
yeah. So yeah,
It's time to go.
No, it's 10 o'clock. Okay.
That's time to go.
yeah.
No, I was just asking.
Oh,
'cause, you
Big
know, it's
Groove
getting
made the
late.
intro. That's right. Big Groove did say he made the intro.
Yeah. You know, I'm not trying to cut your show or anything, but again, I gotta be respectful of your time.
No.
And it's
It's
10
been
o'clock.
really great. And
Yeah,
we need
Big
y'all
Groove made the
contact.
intro for Mike Freak to speak to Spin. So
Okay. We need y'all contact information, where they can reach you, what time the show comes on, and all that stuff.
Okay, so give me
Where
a
you got
second.
comment next and all that stuff.
Okay, give me a second. You are listening to Powerful 10. This is the Thommy Davis Show, and our special guests are.
DJ Patrick Scientific.
And where can they find you? Where can they find you on Facebook, Instagram? Do you have a website? And also, how can they book you?
Okay. I am on Facebook at DJ Patrick Scientific. You can DM me there. I'm at Pat Science on Instagram, and that's a kind of merge between DJ Patrick Scientific and Patrick Ashway.
Okay.
And I'm on.
Do you have a Mixcloud?
Yeah, that's a shame. I don't have. I mean, I think I have one, but I think I play drum and bass on that.
Okay.
I should probably put more.
That's
I should
fine.
probably put more music or more mixes up, but I just don't do it. I'm like,
Just ask Henry help you. He just did his whole
I know how to do it. I know how to do it. I know I.
He actually got me started on the fan page on Facebook. He actually got me started. I was
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, I did.
And you don't have
and eventually.
The fan page on. I mean, I have one. DJ Patrick Scientific. That's on Facebook.
Instagram?
Instagram is Pat Science.
TikTok.
I don't do TikTok. I just don't. I don't have the time for it.
Exactly.
But Facebook, Instagram. I think
X.
X and Twitter. It's Pat Science.
Mhm.
And X. There's another one. Threads.
Okay.
Threads?
Yeah.
I haven't heard it.
That's on
Threads.
Instagram too.
Threads is based on the Google whole enterprise,
Okay.
because Threads is like Instagram,
Okay.
but it's
Yeah.
Google owns it though.
Yeah.
Okay.
A bunch of the programmers that left X started Threads for Google.
That way.
It's the same thing.
Mhm.
Same form. It looks the same. And I've got some issues with Elon Musk, the way he handles things. So it's just like, sure, I'm more on Threads than anything than on X.
Gotcha.
Oh, then that's where I need to go because
I cancel my ex.
I deleted the app off my phone.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as far as the audio infusion, I'll let him go. Then I can do the audio infusion.
Okay. So
Yeah, Audio Fusion every first Friday.
what's your name?
Oh, Henry.
Okay. Then
You
your
don't
name.
know
Okay.
who that is?
How can you reach you?
They say his name is Henry.
DJ Henry HDM, Facebook, Instagram, I believe it's Henry DM13, as well as Threads and TikTok and X.
Okay. So
And
if they want-
Mixcloud, Henry.
And
so if they want,
Twitch.
do you have a Twitch?
Yes.
Okay. So how can we find you
Oh,
on Twitch?
I haven't done anything yet.
Okay.
I want to do live on Twitch.
But hey, you can still get followers. So when you actually do go live, they'll get
Yeah,
alerts.
I'm signed up, but I haven't done anything yet.
I didn't ask you this. Where'd you get Henry D.A. Man?
It all started from track. Me being naive.
What?
Yeah, well, it was THE. And then as I got to DJing and trying to find a name, I changed the THE to possibly BA.
Why?
But it was being naive.
And then you switched to HDM.
Yes.
Shortened it up.
So if they want to book you, how do they contact you? And both DJs are available for booking. So if you have a party, a bar mitzvah,
Oh, you
Easter
email.
dance.
Also, HenryDM13 @gmail.
okay.
I'm Patrick at PatrickScientific.com. And yeah, Patrick at PatrickScientific.com.
Okay. So did you want to talk about the audio infusion?
I can do that.
Okay.
We have a website, theaudioinfusion.com. I actually have a site for myself. It's PatrickScientific.com.
Okay.
But the Audio Infusion has a website, theaudioinfusion.com. And we have a Facebook page and we have Instagram and Twitter. I run all of it. So it is a lot. So it's hard to run. What's the word? It's hard to run social media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's an undertaking.
Yes.
And you got kids.
Oh yeah. But we could use an intern or two, but you have to actually show up to the station
Okay.
because we have enough interns that don't make it to the station. There's one where I know they're not going to make it to the station, but we hired them for something else, and they do something really that they help out big time. Lady K.
Okay.
So she helps out as well. But if you want to learn radio and and practice stuff, radio is a great way to practice how to get your voice in, how to find your voice, and how to speak on radio, and to do it on a consistent basis too. And to see some of the background work that goes into anything that you're going to be doing in the future, because we as any type of a television or even radio, television, you see the stuff, you see the people, but you never see the people behind the cameras.
They're the most important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in radio, you hear the people but you don't understand what's going on behind the microphone.
Yeah, I also want to add, if you do want to intern, everybody has their ways of teaching you. Like when I was interning for the underground experience, you just sit there and you watch. But the whole purpose really is to ask questions. Because when they called you, because one time Pope and OG had a gig in the UK. And it was at that time, shout out to the rest in peace to the diva KP. And they told me, they said, I need you to fill in. And I've been watching them now for a year. And I may ask a question here and there, but I never thought it would come. And then it came. And then I play it back like, well, I don't sound like I sound now. But I was like, KP helped me through that. But it's a process doing it. So some people will teach you, but sometimes it's hard when you're trying to get things together.
Wow.
But don't think that because no one's showing you nothing that there's nothing to learn. Sometimes they want you to watch and learn, and then if you ask questions. Because eventually you are going to move out to do things.
Yeah.
So don't always think that because they're not teaching you means they're not teaching you. Is that watch and then ask questions.
Well, you guys, this is the longest show I think we have. Tracy?
Yeah, this is This is the longest. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Hold up. This is the longest. I just wanted to say something.
Well, wait, what are you doing that for?
Wait a minute. Hold up. I'm trying to turn it towards you so people can see you.
But it's a radio show.
Yeah, I understand. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, dead air. I'm sorry, dead air.
Tracy trying
I'm
to let
sorry.
everybody shine.
I'm sorry, dead air.
She trying to build likes on her page. She ain't fooling me.
Oh no! I'm trying to. You know, I record this stuff and put it on YouTube just in
She
case
does.
the people
She does.
don't see it. I haven't edited the last one yet, so hopefully this week.
I couldn't do this without her. I mean, she has.
Trust me, I understand that editing because I
Yeah.
do the green room sessions.
It takes a while. It takes a while.
Wow.
But I do have a question. First of all, I'd like to thank you guys for coming in. You know, thank you.
Thank you.
The information you gave us was priceless, and it will be on YouTube soon. Tommy, do you have any parting words about how this whole session went, and you know?
Oh, I just said it before. I was like, y'all was amazing. And you know, everybody we get on this show, because we're so casual with it, it becomes so informative because I don't have a piece of paper here saying, I need to ask you this and this and that. We're just going with the flow, moving in, and then certain things come out. I've done enough interviews before to know to avoid. You got to ask some questions.
Right.
You know, but then other things, it comes out of the air. I suppose it just comes out of the air and it makes it more interesting.
Becomes like a
Relax.
conversation.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly what we have. We have conversation.
Yeah. So, you're welcome to come back individually or because we definitely, if you got a gig or something, you just come say, hey, I want to come in, or send us an email, say, hey, can you mention this?
So I appreciate
We
it.
tell people that, can you mention this
Yeah.
party
Works for us as well too. You can come up and
for 3 minutes?
Thank you, Tommy. Thank you.
It's gonna be a running joke.
Like I said, I would love, to have DJ sets from you. Maybe one day it'll work out. I mean, we've had you by yourself. Not to say we don't. I definitely want to bring you back by yourself. But like I said, the dream match will be your span or span and charisma. So maybe one day it'll work out. Maybe.
Oh, this has been really, really good. And we're just gonna keep getting better and better. We don't have pictures. So what do y'all do with all the pictures? Every time I come there,
Oh,
what's a picture?
It's on that Facebook
It's on
page.
Facebook page.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
it's not
on
it's not a
Facebook.
book or something that's in. It's just on a page.
Yeah.
sometimes it's a random black and white at night. We do that.
Because
Yeah.
I've been like 30 people and y'all got them in one picture.
Well, there's some that are in one picture. But we have several pictures. It's what? Well over 300-400 pictures
Yeah.
over the years.
Coffee table, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Some pictures will be worth money.
Mm.
So, and once again, thanks y'all. Tracy, you want to say anything?
Yes, I gotta get on my little.
Don't you do it.
Oh no! Listen. It's a couple of things that I would like to. Yeah, it's a couple of things that I would like to mention. So it's I'm working with another nonprofit. And they're actually doing an Afrobeats party to raise money to make sure that the youth in Baltimore stay off of the streets. So you have to go on my page because I'm not even gonna remember. I don't remember what it is. I wrote it down. So please go on my Facebook page, Tracy Stevens, and you will see the flyer. This is for Baltimore's youth, and we want to make sure that they stay off the streets and they actually make $1. And I have volunteered myself to do a recycle walk around Park Heights because it's going to benefit Park Heights, and we're going to start making artwork from the recycle walk that we do,
That sounds good.
and we're going to auction it all so it can go back because, as we know, Park Heights is sort of a food desert. So that way we can raise money to buy food to give families, and also have some of these teenagers and tweens make their first $1 off of something that they found and sustained it, and actually made sure that they can create something from their hands, sell it, make money, and they don't have to do anything of it.
That's a good cause.
So I'm going to put that on my Facebook page. And also, as we all know, art is being challenged. They're trying to take the art away from us. Meaning at the NEA, the National Endowment of the Arts, they're dismantling it. And they also dismantled the Department of Education. See, the thing is they're bringing down a lot of executive orders, which makes things pause right away, opposed to going the right way. So please, 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 I want to put something on my page. We really need to save the arts. They keep saying we put too much money within the arts. You know how much money that you put inside the arts per paycheck? 30 cents.
Okay.
So that's not a lot of money. Imagine a world without free speech. Imagine a world without graphics. Imagine a world without movies. Actually, imagine a world without music. All of that is art,
Yep,
honestly.
it's all art.
So what we need you guys to do, honestly, is to write your lawmakers and let them know, do not dismantle the National Endowment of the Arts. Today, we found out that Arts Every Day, which actually brings artwork into the schools, they got dismantled because the federal funding has been cut, and also for the arts, and also the federal funding for education. So Arts Every Day is arts education. So we really, really, really need to get on that. Um,
Mm.
Save the youth. Let them have imaginations. That's what art does. Imagine, like, look at it right now. A lot of the movies that we're watching are remakes of other movies because back in the day, they started taking art out of school and it ended up being a after school program or something that you had to pay for, which is actually taking imagination away from people. Think about it. Remember when we went to school, we had band. Yeah, right? We had we had a segment where we actually did nothing but sit down and sketch. You know what I'm saying? So they took the
Wait a minute, they don't do
music out.
that no more?
No, they don't even teach them cursive writing.
Oh, I knew
So
that.
that's why a lot of people get like a lot of people's identity gets still, especially, you know, the millennials, because they don't have anything, which is an art, actually, cursive writing.
It is.
That's why they get a lot of their identity still, because everybody's still in print. So I know I usually get on my soapbox, but right now we really need your help. We
Art
really
comes
do.
in a bunch of different ways too. A good example, in my opinion, is a car.
Right.
I mean, there's an engineering of how can you make a car get you from A to B.
Mhm.
But then the most important thing is how do you make that car look good so that someone else wants to drive it?
The same thing with a house.
Mhm.
Same thing with the house.
You know, you have to draw that house. It came from somebody's imagination. Everything has art in it. Everything.
Everything.
And a lot of people don't realize, like these microphones.
She didn't almost show. See, I keep
These,
saying she
these
didn't show.
microphones, these, you know,
Headphones.
these headphones, this computer screen and everything, it's all art. Somebody thought about it. Somebody imagined it, because before this came out, we had no idea this could
She's
be
pointing
something
at the
that we're
screen.
looking. I'm sorry, I'm pointing at the screen. We had no idea that we would be looking at screens. You know, think about TV. That somebody had to draw a TV. Yeah, the old school TVs still do look like the radio transitions from back in the day, but somebody put a tube in there. That's art, you know. So we really need everybody to come together and save the arts. Honestly, imagine
Tracy,
a world
Tracy.
without music.
Really, just I think you nailed it.
Okay, so
And we're gonna touch on it every week. I
Okay.
want you to do this every week.
all right,
Just
so
not till next week.
yeah, it's almost 10:30, and please visit my Facebook page, Tracy Stevens. If you would like to sponsor the show, please do visit my Facebook page, Tracy Stevens. And if you would like to be featured on the show, again, visit my Facebook page, Tracy Stevens, and we'll work something out.